Is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome all to DBL. It's Tuesday, March 2nd. I'm Tori, feeling casual and sexy here with Al and Lindsay.
We all feel that.
I don't feel so sexy. I feel kind of neutral, but I
feel like
appreciate
Some would say you're dressed for work, Lindsay.
I thought this was very cool. I thought I looked fresh. All right, good. Let's get to work because you guys are already writing me in about this. Dr. Seuss. Yes, let's discuss. Is Dr. Seuss being canceled? All right, let me tell you the backstory here. 6 of his books will no longer be published, including the titles If I Ran the Zoo, On Beyond Zebra, and Scrambled Eggs Super. Now, I need you to hear the sentence. That's according to Dr. Seuss's Enterprises, which pulled the books themselves because of, quote, racist and insensitive imagery. Now, here are some of the examples of the drawings that are being criticized. As you can see, some stereotypes there. In a statement, the company said, quote, these books portray people in ways that are hurtful and wrong. Dr. Seuss, whose real name is Theodore Seuss Geisel, died in 1991. The author continues to be super popular for kids, earning an estimated $33 million last year alone.
That's not that much.
Al, do you have $33 million?
No, but that kid that opens gifts on YouTube made like 19.
All right,
so
can I finish the read? Thanks. So the question is it okay to pull books like this that may contain racist and hurtful images, or is this part of a trend to censor and cancel people unfairly? Again, I really want to emphasize this. The Dr. Seuss's publisher themselves are the ones taking these books back. These are not banned in certain ways. These are themselves saying we want to take away some of these books because we find that we've evolved. What do you guys think, Al?
I think this book was already canceled because these are definitely the B-sides. All right. This is whatever song was on the other side of Ice Ice Baby. Yeah, this is not, no one cared. This was already canceled. No one cares. And I wonder, and I want to pose this to you guys, do you think that this is a way to like drum up? I don't like that all of a sudden no one's talking about things and then all of a sudden Mr. Potato Head's trans. And you're like, what? Are we talking about this now?
To be honest, he's not trans. He's gender neutral.
Any of this. It's like the war on Christmas or the war on masculine. It's not a thing.
Created.
No one's ever said it in real life.
However, if you're an Asian American or an Asian and you see that and it's got slanty eyes and it's a little
now that was racist,
right.
I'm saying, but no one's reading those books anyway.
Now, I thought that we were going down a little bit of a rabbit hole canceling kids' books, but then I really looked into this and I was like, you know, in addition to your parents and schooling teaching you, it lies on a lot of what your kids' extracurricular activities do. I know that I learned a lot in dancing class. I know that I learned a lot in what I read. And so these books are like a prominent staple in kids' lives that they're reading through. We can't have them reading stereotypes, especially if they're not exposed to a diverse crowd, and then this is what they think of Asian people, or this is what they think of black people. And so that's why I think, you know, as much as I don't want to keep going down a rabbit hole of canceling, you know, you can't have this in kids' faces, especially when they're so impressionable.
Yeah, and
unless they put it on an iPad. When's the last time you saw a kid hold a book? I've seen a kid with a knife and sword before I've seen him with a book.
No one has a knife
touched
and
those old
a
books
sword.
Before. No one, Mike. No one is going to read those. They're already canceled.
I just want to make it clear again. I'm so against banned books. In my school, we literally had we read a whole year on banned books only. But this isn't banned books in the case of this is the publisher themselves saying we're uncomfortable, and I think that's different. I'm going to read some comments because they're coming in. Marcus from Twitter says, of all things that could get canceled, I thought Dr. Seuss was untouchable, but alas. He doesn't have to say canceled.
And he doesn't have to use the word alas.
I like the word alas. All right. Mom Athena says he was a product of his culture, not a hateful heart. Once he knew differently, he changed. No book should be banned, just thoughtfully chosen. And Zola says this is the decision of the owners of the legacy. People should be able to make decisions regarding their own property. I see a huge difference.
But if we pull every single thing in history, we'll find something wrong with every single thing, I want to bet. Up until maybe like 10 years ago, when we really started to get into people being woke and understanding things. Like, there are layers in a lot of these cartoons that we watched, inappropriate, whether they're racially or just jokes are inappropriate. Like, there are a lot of things that would not fly today. I even watched the new Shaft that came out, and I noticed that it was way different than the old Shaft. Now, the old Shaft is like a movie where there were totally inappropriate, like homophobic remarks. And in this one, whenever they made a remark that was like that, I noticed that they corrected themselves in the movie, which to me, the movie wasn't even funny anymore, but it was like, why even do the remake of Shaft if it was that type of movie?
If you have to do that, yeah,
exactly.
I hear you.
So I think we're going to go into this place where we keep pulling stuff, and maybe we just need to make better versions or just cancel that idea and make something new.
Well, the good news is that on Amazon and eBay, the prices for these books that no one's heard of are now skyrocketing. Everybody wants.
Who's that good news for?
Our Super Eggs something. I forgot the name too. It's very strange.
No one's ever read those books.
I've never heard of those books.
I know those are weird
me neither.
ones.
But I'm, you know, again, if it's up to the owner to do so, it's different than banning a book in my view. But keep writing us.
I just want to say my comedy album's been banned. And they just said, yeah, it's just so controversial. So
you just want sales.
Guys, do not go buy it. Do not get it from Amazon Prime. I mean, just the language.
Oh, the language is awful. All right, let's move on to this. A lot of you are talking about it. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, he's in some hot water. He is facing a third allegation of unwanted sexual advances. This time, the woman said that Cuomo put his hand on her lower back, was, quote, aggressive, and asked if he could kiss her. She says it happened at a wedding reception in 2019, and it left her feeling confused and shocked and embarrassed. Two former aides of the governor have also accused him of sexual harassment. In a statement on Sunday, the governor said, "To be clear, I never inappropriately touched anybody, and I never propositioned anybody, and I never intended to make anyone feel uncomfortable. But these are allegations that New Yorkers deserve answers to." Meantime, the governor's brother anchor, we all know Chris Cuomo, addressed the story very briefly on CNN last night. Let's listen in on what he said.
Obviously, I'm aware of what's going on with my brother. And obviously, I cannot cover it because he is my brother. Now, of course, CNN has to cover it. They have covered it extensively, and they will continue to do so.
Interesting. Well, the New York Attorney General announced yesterday she could move forward with an independent investigation, and more people are now calling for his resignation. I do want to say something very quickly is he wanted to appoint a judge to look over it that was like his buddy. That's not going to fly anymore. We don't let buddies look over severe sexual harassment claims. If this is true and they're substantiated with an independent investigation, Cuomo has to go.
How do you not finish that with Gomo? That was you. It was right there. That is your
because I'm trying to be a professional.
We're trying to have people watch the show. No, right.
Do you agree?
I think he's got to go.
You guys, we talked about this a lot. Like a lot of times when these allegations came out with Biden, you saw a slew of people jump into his defense, right?
Right.
And so with Cuomo, we're not seeing that. I'm not saying that any accuser shouldn't be believed, right? You should listen to women. You should listen to men. Any accuser has something to say. But where are the people that are defending Cuomo? I'm not hearing like slews and slews of people coming out saying, wait, this is not true. He's a good guy for these 10 reasons. And so that to me is problematic and scary, especially somebody who's touched so many lives over the last couple decades. You would think that there would be people.
You think there'd be someone defending him in some ways?
If there was an allegation that Lindsay is a tyrant at work, there would be no smoke. Besides the fact that I tweeted that, there would be no smoke. There would be Tory. There would be me taking up for you. People would say, "Where'd this come from? We need put your name to this." We're not seeing that. So there's a reason for that.
Yeah,
I
agree. If you're really patriotic, it shouldn't matter their D or the R or the independent label. If they have accusers and it's substantiated, that's a zero tolerance for me. I don't care what you are. Now, I will say, if this is the way it's going to be, which I think it should, this needs to apply to everyone. So people like Madison Cawthorn, who we now know, a Republican, has been accused several times of predatory behavior in colleges and after. That needs to be looked into with an independent investigation. It needs to be just not one-sided on either side. Does that make sense?
It'd be nice if there was just like some kind of independent body that could look over these things, like newspapers and magazines.
Maybe we need it.
Hire people to look at their magazine objectively and say, what's going on? Do we have too many left-leaning articles? Are these articles too long? Or people like you need somebody to be able to evaluate objectively, and I feel like we don't have that. We just kind of have this I think we're okay.
Right, because you're asking people in government to check and balance themselves, which usually they don't do. And so a lot of times it is those newspapers and TV outlets that break stories like this, and because they listen to someone's story, now we have to investigate it. And so it's kind of like, which comes first, the chicken
and it keeps happening, right? We keep having these allegations. Politicians do better, am I right? Well, coming up on DBL, our medical expert, we've missed her. You've written to me. Where is she? She's back. Dr. Pyle Coley is back to tackle the latest headlines surrounding the COVID vaccines. And a plastic surgeon makes a virtual court appearance from the OR. Yeah, the operating room. We'll tell you what's going on here. The judge is as confused as I am. Coming up next.
Closed captioning provided by Smiling through the pain. It's something Lexi Bader does on a daily basis. We first introduced you to Lexi last year, a successful young model with a debilitating disease.
We're happy to have you back. I know that there's a lot going on, so you have definitely been an inspiration for our audience, and we just want to reconnect with you.
Yeah, I can't wait. Sorry. Yeah, I'm really happy to be here too.
All right, girlfriend. Okay, we're almost ready. I'm gonna count us down, and don't be nervous. You got this. You've already come in. We've already done this. All right, you ready, girl?
I am.
DBL is all new every day.
Don't look at me like with that face, because I'm telling you how I feel.
I'm not buying his story.
I'm already fired up.
Yeah.
Still in people out there watching who are appalled.
Well, you acted like I just said something crazy.
I'm so far like in my head, I don't even know what's going on.
Alone. No, I'm just being honest. He's trying to get clout.
I'm gonna wear a 10-gallon hat.
Lucy would have been all over you, honey.
Hey.
Stick with us in 2021. We're going to have a great year. Welcome back to DBL. A big shout out to our coworkers tuning in from home during the pandemic. We miss you, and we thank you for the great job that you're doing. This story is cray-cray, okay? A plastic surgeon in California is under fire. It's all because he appeared in traffic court virtually while he was operating. The judge of the case didn't seem too amused. Let's all take a look.
I'm seeing a defendant that's in the middle of an operating room, appearing to be actively engaged in providing services to a patient. Is that correct, Mr. Green?
Yes, sir.
I do not feel comfortable for the welfare of a patient if you're in the process of operating that I would put on a trial.
So I have another surgeon right here who's doing the surgery with me, so I can stand here and allow them to do the surgery also.
Not at all. I don't think so. I don't think that's appropriate.
All right, the judge then went on to reschedule the trial, and the medical board in California is now reportedly investigating. Not cool.
So because it's not me, like, it's really funny to watch. But like, if that was me, I would be so offended. Like, if I was put to sleep and then I watch my doctor doing this, like, that's ridiculous. I mean, it's obviously very problematic for every single medical board that's going to review this.
True, and it brings up that Joan Rivers, where we all kind of joke about it. But remember what happened? Joan Rivers was getting something fixed in her throat. The guy allegedly was taking photographs of himself while she was out. She dies. She doesn't make it out of that surgery. So it's like funny, and then you're like, is it funny?
Not really, right?
Yeah.
It was a routine surgery is what happened to Joan. So, I mean, that does happen. And it brings up another question. It's like, a lot of times, are you too busy to go to court? It seems like jury duty and things like court fall during. Could you go to court right now, Lindsay? Could you tour? It's very weird when we schedule times to vote, times to be a juror. Like, it just seems completely backwards to me. It doesn't seem like it's aimed at really helping working people in the hours people work.
I think that times changed because of coronavirus. I know that even in our company, we talked about it, like, you used to die on the sword and be sick and come into the office. Like, that's not a thing anymore. Stay home. And so I hope that everybody with this new kind of autonomy, if you were lucky enough to have it, is really thinking about the things that they have to get done within, like, a weekday schedule or whatever your work schedule is, and just figuring out how to schedule them in and how to communicate and not feel like you're letting somebody down by doing other things in life. Everybody knows there are other things in life, whether it's kids or whether it's appointments. Like, there are things that come up. And so, you know, this doctor is being really irresponsible, and we're not even in a place where you have to be at work every single day. Like, you get more credit for doing that.
I mean, just the judgment call, too. It's like, I don't trust that doctor to make any moves on my face with that judgment.
Okay.
All right, well, this is very interesting. A Nike exec is out of a job after a report about her son's sneaker side business. So Ann Herbert, that's she right here, resigned from the company yesterday after Bloomberg Business Week, like Lindsay said, it's always the newspapers reporting it, reported her son used her credit card to purchase $132,000 in limited edition sneakers, which he then resold for profit. This is 19-year-old Joe Herbert. He ran a company called West Coast Streetwear, which collected popular sneakers and then resold them, raking in more than 20 grand in profit. When asked, he said his mom did not provide him with any inside info, and she did reportedly disclose to Nike about her son's business. But now, she out of a job. So, did she need to resign? Was this a conflict of interest?
I want to say I have a lot of feelings about this.
Okay, go ahead.
Colin liked a lot of those sneakers and would, like, shop around for them on StockX, and they would be like $1,000 the day that they came out. And he's like, this little gremlin is the reason why I couldn't get any of these sneakers. And because he had his mom's access, he was buying up all the sneakers. And so then you wonder why you can't just go into a sneaker store like when we were little and buy some sneakers that you really like because you saved up for them. That's, like, not even a thing anymore.
Sneakers is different. I lived on Fairfax and Melrose in LA, and it became Sneakerville. Like, Kanye had his, Supreme had theirs, and people lined up around the block overnight to get the one or two to then resell. But it seems so unfair that he had an inside scoop on this.
He had like thousands.
What is this unfair? I don't understand. I don't understand capitalism and how we view it. We celebrate this style of how we run our economy. Capitalism is the best. Free market, no restrictions. But when that guy goes out and buys a bunch of masks and hoards them at the beginning of the pandemic, he's slapped on the wrist. He has to give those up. But Kelly Loeffler allegedly had inside information about the coming pandemic, sold a bunch of stock. Maybe she got the tip from her husband, who was the president of the New York Stock Exchange. Maybe, but that's fine. So how come this kid can't profit? I just need to know the rules. Who can profit and who can't? Because it seems like anytime a regular person like GameStop, when the regular folks start making some money, not that this is a rich kid, but when regular folks start making some money, they turn the game off. They literally shut down, what do you almost call it, Trader Joe's?
Robin Hood?
Robin Hood,
Yes.
Yes.
Because they're trading? Oh, boy.
But like, it's so weird. I don't get it.
Let us know what you guys think. We'll be right back.
There she is, Gabby Tuft. Welcome to DBL. So your personal story is definitely one of inner strength despite your previous physique and career as a male professional wrestler who your fans once knew as Tyler Rex.
In the new report, the CDC tested 3 mask methods to see which blocked the most particles. Now, the tests show a normal-fitting disposable medical mask blocks about 42% of particles. A normal cloth mask is slightly more snug and blocks about 44%. Things get better if you, quote, knot and tuck the mask. That looks like this. You make knots in the ear loops and then tuck the excess fabric in for a tighter fitting mask. This method blocks about 63 to 65% of particles. Finally, they tried a double mask, a cloth mask on top of a disposable medical mask. This was most effective by far, blocking about 92.5% of cough particles. That's more than double the effectiveness of either mask alone. After this test, the CDC put out new guidance for wearing a mask. They say the more snug, the better, and recommend multiple options, including double masks or using the knot and tuck method. Bottom line, yes, CDC data shows that 2 masks, cloth and disposable, are better than 1 at preventing the spread of COVID. That's verified. They also add what not to do. They say don't double up disposable masks or double up with a KN95 mask. With your Verify, I'm Jason Puckett.
Welcome back to DBL. Big news about the COVID-19 vaccines. There are now 3 of them. Our medical expert, Dr. Payal Kohli, joins us. It's so good to see you, Doc, looking fabulous as always. Now, we know you've already gotten your vaccine, but we really want to know, if you had to choose one now, which of the 3 would you choose?
That is $1 million question, Tori. But before I give you my answer, I want to hear your answers. So which ones would you guys choose right now based on what you know?
Pfizer for me, only because it's been studied more, even though it's 2 shots as opposed to the Johnson & Johnson.
I say Pfizer because my dad got Pfizer and he was fine. My mom had symptoms after she got the Moderna one, but I don't know.
Oh, I hold stock in Moderna, so Moderna. Best one ever.
So none of you guys picked Johnson & Johnson? I'm a little bit disappointed to hear that.
I know.
Trust it. Not yet.
Well, so let me just tell you something about Johnson & Johnson. In fact, the technology that the Johnson & Johnson vaccine uses has been around substantially longer than either Pfizer or Moderna, which is actually a much newer technology. In fact, the data from Johnson & Johnson has over 193,000 patients historically that have received this type of technology vaccine and other vaccines such as Ebola. So my answer is, you guys, I would choose any of them. Whichever one was first made available to me, that's what I'm telling my family members to do. Because if you look at the numbers, I call it number soup because there's so many numbers about efficacy floating around, but really 2 numbers that matter. How good is it at preventing serious illness? And this Johnson & Johnson vaccine is 85% compared to Moderna and Pfizer, which are about 94%. And then second, how good is it at keeping me out of the hospital, keeping me out of the ICU, and keeping me alive? Because if I get the virus, it's more likely to be something that I, recover from at home. And it's 100% effective at doing that, just like the others.
Well, she was a trick question.
Yeah, so like I said, Johnson & Johnson.
Johnson & Johnson.
Always had my vote. And Doc, the Johnson & Johnson, if I'm correct, is just 1 shot, right?
It's 1 shot, Al. That's one of the big advantages. It's much more stable, and so you don't have as many preservatives. You're not having as many allergic reactions either. So from a public health perspective, it's tremendous because we can get people vaccinated in 2 weeks rather than waiting 4 to 6 weeks like with Pfizer and Moderna.
Johnson & Johnson. We said it from the beginning.
So, Dr. Coley, now that we have 3 vaccines to choose from, are there realistic advantages for certain people to get certain vaccines? I know you're telling your family to get any one available, but is there a reason why somebody would get a certain one?
Good call.
Yeah, so I would say, Lindsay, only if you've had an allergic reaction to a component of one of the other vaccines would you go for one or the other. They did look at subgroup analysis, so they broke down the pie into smaller subgroups. And with Johnson & Johnson, those over the age of 65 with medical problems or those with HIV, they still need more data on. But really, you can get any of them. And I want to be careful not to compare the numbers head to head, because we're actually talking about 2 different time periods. Last year, when we studied Moderna and Pfizer, we didn't have the variants. And it's possible that if we studied them now, like we did Johnson & Johnson, their performance might change because we now have the variants. So, we have to be careful about saying one is better than the other. They're all really good vaccines, and we just have to get that vaccine as soon as it's available to us.
I just remember meeting Dr. Coley, and from then till now, where we have 3 is a big step. So let's all be grateful for that.
Right.
And be grateful for Dr. Coley just as a person, because she's wonderful. Thank you so much, Doctor. We'll be right back.
My girl.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Medical misinformation is everywhere online, and that's why the Verify team turns to the vetted experts to fact-check claims like these, which say that people who wear glasses are up to 3 times less likely to catch COVID. So let's verify. Are people who wear glasses less likely to develop COVID-19? Our sources are 2 professors, Dr. Sonal Tooley at the University of Florida and Dr. Catherine Colby at NYU Langone Health. We also looked at this study, a research article out of India. Here's what our experts had to say about this claim.
So at this point, we cannot tell you for certain.
We don't have any evidence.
This claim started to get attention when news outlets caught wind of a study out of India, which looked at 304 patients with mild COVID-19, concluding that those who wore glasses for more than 8 hours a day or sunglasses outside were 2 to 3 times less likely to catch COVID-19. Dr. Colby pointed out that this study is only a preprint, which means it hasn't been peer-reviewed.
I don't put any stock in publications that haven't gone through the peer-reviewed process.
In fact, the website that published the report says that preprints, quote, should not be relied on to guide clinical practice or health-related behavior, and should not be reported in news media as established information. Even the author noted the limitations, writing that the sample size was small, the study period was short, and that, quote, more studies should be done to know the effect of using spectacles on the epidemiology of COVID-19.
It's a good pilot study, something that we want to look at and then build from.
So we can verify that our experts say at this point, there's no definitive evidence that glasses wearers have a smaller risk of developing COVID-19. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozloff, 5 on your side.
DBL is all new every day.
Don't look at me like with that face, because I'm telling you how I feel.
I'm not buying his story.
No, I'm just being honest. He's trying to get clout.
I'm going to wear a 10-gallon hat.
Stick with us in 2021. We're going to have a great year.
The winter storm that hit Texas could raise grocery prices. Let's connect the dots. During the winter months, Texas is one of the few places inside the U.S. that is a source for fresh fruits and vegetables. But the deep freeze has devastated many of those crops, everything from kale to citrus trees. Some crops did better than others. Officials in Texas say onions and cabbage seem to suffer the least damage, but farmers still reporting a 20% loss of those crops as well. There are other states stores can go to for fresh fruits and vegetables like Arizona and Florida, so you will be able to find produce in stores, but it'll probably cost more, especially in the near future. That's because stores have to sort out the logistics of getting products from new suppliers, and that will take time and money. The storm could also have long-term effects. Many farmers had already planted valuable spring crops. Now those same farmers are scrambling to replant, but that will be costly. And that is Connecting the Dots.
Welcome back to DBL. Your comments came in like fire. That came out weird.
Yeah.
Marilyn said, this is all crazy about Dr. Seuss. They are taking things too far. It needs to stop. Cindy says, we're teaching people that if something offends us, we have to get rid of it. People have different opinions. That's what makes our world an interesting place.
An opinion shouldn't be offensive. If it is, you should be corrected.
Well, there you go.
I'm offended by that. Well, I have a different opinion about you being offended.
That's true. Racism is an opinion.
Argument
that you're offended.
Right, you can't bring up like a second side that's actually just ridiculous and offensive to people. That's not a second side of an argument.
Very fair. And finally, Sue says just they should be parental guidances on those movies, just on those books like they do in movies. Well, goodbye to our coworkers at home today. When the pandemic's over, we'll be back together again in the studio. About today on Daily Blast Live. Is Dr. Seuss being canceled? The controversy that led to some of his books no longer getting published. A third woman is accusing Governor Cuomo of sexual harassment. Now his anchor brother is addressing the allegations.
Obviously, I'm aware of what's going on with my brother.
Taylor Swift calls out a new Netflix show for its joke about her dating history. Was it all in good fun or just flat out sexist? And a model's emotional journey as she decides to amputate both of her legs. Wait until you see the huge surprise we have for her.
Oh, I don't even know what to say. I'm like blushing, I'm sweating.
Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Welcome to DBL. It is Tuesday, March 2nd. Can you believe it's already March 2nd? No. Wow, I'm Sam here with Jeff and Al, and Erica joins us from home. Let's get right to it. You guys all have an opinion on this. Is Dr. Seuss being canceled? So 6 of his books will no longer be published, including the titles If I Ran the Zoo, On Beyond Zebra, and Scrambled Egg Super. So that's according to Dr. Seuss Enterprises. They pulled the books. They decided that they wanted to pull the books because of, quote, racist and insensitive imagery. So here are some examples of the drawings that are being criticized. In a statement, the company said, quote, these books portray people in ways that are hurtful and wrong. Dr. Seuss, whose real name is Theodore Seuss Geisel, died in 1991. The author continues to be super popular for kids, earning an estimated $33 million last year alone. So the question is, and we always love to hear from you, DBL Nation, so continue to write in. Is it okay to pull books like this that may contain racist and hurtful images? Or, in your opinion, is this part of a trend to censor and cancel people unfairly? What would you say, Al?
I'd say that they've already been pulled. Sam, have you ever heard of any of those books, Jeff? Those are definitely like the B-side of whatever was on the other side of Ice Ice Baby, like the song that no one heard.
Redfish, Bluefish.
Yes, like those are not the most popular Dr. Seuss books. So
well, they are now.
That's where I'm going,
okay,
Sam.
Go. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
You know I'm not a conspiracy guy. But if you have things that aren't selling, what did we see? We saw the old episodes with Sesame Street that people weren't looking at that had the Confederate flag. They mentioned it was canceled. Streams went up. The country singer said the N-word. They said he was canceled. #1 on Billboard. Has been for almost 4 or 5 weeks now. Now we see these books that none of us have heard of. The 3 of us have 7 kids together combined. Am I doing the math right? Yes. Never heard of any of these books.
I had never heard of them.
And now they're popular. So is that conspiracy, or is this like a new marketing trend, Jeff?
Does that make you extra racist if you bid on one of those books?
Yeah.
I didn't.
No,
I didn't. I'm just saying.
Maybe it's just you taking something that's valuable and flipping it and making a profit.
I would say you're part of the problem then, right? You're racist if you do that. If you're going to call these books racist and now you're profiting off of these books, that's a whole nother question. Listen, I'm going to take the other side on this one, okay? I'm all for getting rid of those 6 books. I don't think little kids need to look at those images and it needs to be explained. You get rid of that. But now Dr. Seuss is a whole different thing. President Biden took it off the Read Across America. Dr. Seuss is gone. Obama read from it. Michelle Obama read from it. Multiple presidents read from Dr. Seuss. Now Dr. Seuss is being canceled. That's fine. Mr. Potato Head last week, Dr. Seuss today, Chris Harrison challenged a comment. Challenged, didn't say anything derogatory. Challenged a comment. Chris Harrison gone. I could keep going on.
You're talking about from The Bachelor?
From The Bachelor,
okay.
Yeah. Just another example. I could keep going on. Where does it end, Al? Where does it end? My thing to you is, if I'm scared to have a conversation, that's what growing is all about. That's what getting past racism and all these things that people are insecure about or aren't aware of, to have a conversation about it and be educated about it, right?
Right.
If you're scaring people away because they like Dr. Seuss or Mr. Potato Head, and you want to push me away because I like Mr. Potato or Dr. Seuss, how are you going to talk to me about Black Lives Matter? How am I going to listen to that and sit at the table with you, Al, without being in fear that I'm going to say something wrong if you're already questioning me about Mr. Potato Head?
Well,
so how are we supposed to move forward as a country?
You're afraid it's diluting the message.
Diluting? It's already drowned.
Now,
it's at the bottom.
I hear what you're saying, and I want to get Erica involved here. Now, for Erica, for me, I think Jeff has a point. However, why can't we just take it case-by-case basis? Why can't we look at this and go, wow, there's so many books out there that are inclusive. There are so many books out there that are going to help shape our children's mind about being inclusive and non-discriminatory. So yeah, get rid of these books. They fall under that umbrella, and it's Dr. Seuss Enterprises themselves that are removing them. I don't want my child looking at these types of imagery. I don't want it to shape her mindset. So can we take it case by case, or is it going to be a slippery slope, to Jeff's point?
You know, I think that conversations need to be had, and they need to be had in a very open and transparent way. The issue is there are a lot of feelings behind for very appropriate reasons. There is a lot of history of hurt and oppression and suppression that makes people feel some type of way about addressing these conversations on both sides. But the conversation needs to be had, and there are plenty of people who are willing to have those conversations. This was essentially a self-audit. Was there pressure behind Dr. Seuss? Of course there was. But we all have to take a look at how we are going to move forward when it comes to the humanity of this country. I don't have to drink from a colored water fountain to understand that there were colored water fountains in this country. So I think that talking about it in the context of history and education is very important. But I think that when you're talking about coming to a table and having an open and honest conversation, you have to be very intentional about what conversation you're walking into. And if everyone at the table is willing to have an open and honest, transparent conversation with you, that's called pick your table.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we try and do here on DBL.
It's a conversation in good faith, and I know we got to move on, but I'm going to say this. There's something in terms of conversations when there has to be a good faith agreement between both people. And when Jeff and I sit down, I know I love him, and he knows that I will do anything for him and his family. So when we have those conversations, it's a different plane than just like I'm trying to get a screenshot so I can end his career.
Then you grow, and that's the goal.
I love you, buddy.
New York Governor Andrew Cuomo is facing a third allegation of unwanted sexual advances. This time, the woman said that Cuomo put his hand on her lower back, was aggressive, and asked if he could kiss her. She says it happened at a wedding reception in 2019, and it left her feeling confused and shocked and embarrassed. Two former aides of the governor have also accused him of sexual harassment. In a statement on Sunday, the governor said, "To be clear, I never inappropriately touched anybody. I never propositioned anybody, and I never intended to make anyone feel uncomfortable. But these allegations that New Yorkers deserve answers to." Meantime, the governor's brother, anchor Chris Cuomo, addressed the story briefly on CNN last night. Here's what he said.
Obviously, I'm aware of what's going on with my brother. And obviously, I cannot cover it because he is my brother. Now, of course, CNN has to cover it. They have covered it extensively, and they will continue to do so.
The New York Attorney General announced yesterday she could move forward with an independent investigation, and more people are calling for his resignation. What do you make of these allegations, Jeff?
I think you got to do your due diligence. Look into it just like anything else. I don't think Republican, I was going to say color matters on this one, red or blue color. Watch out. Watch out. But I was going to say Republican or Democrat. It doesn't matter. If you're under investigation, you're under investigation. It really doesn't matter what color you are, what different your party is, what sex you are. If there's allegations, you got to get through those. And if it comes out clean in the end, keep going with your life. If not, then there needs to be repercussions.
There needs, yeah. If first of all, there has to be an independent investigation, and we need to find out everything that Governor Cuomo has done, not only in power, but perhaps before he became into power, because in my opinion, I don't care who you are, you got to be held accountable. So if they do find it, he needs to resign. We need to start weeding these politicians out, Erica. Weed them out.
Well, where do we start, Sam? I mean, honestly, when it comes down to it, there's so much that we don't know about people. When we're electing officials, most of the time we're dealing with their policies. It takes someone super brave to walk forward and say, hey, I don't believe that this person should be in power based on this thing that indicates something negative about their character. And more people are being emboldened to do that. I'm not saying guilt or innocent, as I have said before. I'll let that all ride. But for anyone, when it really comes down to it. But I think we have an investigation to wait for.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming up on DBL, Taylor Swift lashes out against Netflix after one of its shows made a joke at her expense. Does she need to lighten up, or does she have a point? Plus, a young model's emotional journey as she chooses to amputate not one, but both of her legs. It is an incredible story of perseverance, and a plastic surgeon makes a virtual court appearance from the operating room. We'll tell you what's going on about that next.
Closed captioning provided by
It's so.
Smiling through the pain. It's something Lexi Bader does on a daily basis. We first introduced you to Lexi last year, a successful young model with a debilitating disease.
We're happy to have you back. I know that there's a lot going on, so you have definitely been an inspiration for our audience, and we just want to reconnect with you.
Yeah, I can't wait. Sorry. Yeah, I'm really happy to be here too.
All right, girlfriend. Okay, we're almost ready. I'm gonna count us down, and don't be nervous. You got this. You've already come in. We've already done this. All right, you ready, girl?
I am.
DBL is all new every day.
Don't look at me like with that face, because I'm telling you how I feel.
I'm not buying his story.
I'm already fired up.
Yeah. Good.
Still in
people
Congress.
out there watching who are appalled.
Well, you acted like I just said something crazy.
I'm so far like in my head, I don't even know what's going
Jeff
on.
alone. No, I'm just being honest. He's trying to get clout.
I'm gonna wear a 10-gallon hat.
Lucy would have been all over you, honey.
Yeah, stick with us in 2021. We're going to have a great year. Welcome back, DBL. Check out all of our coworkers at home during the pandemic, keeping up the great work. We love you guys, miss you. All right, so a plastic surgeon in California is under fire. It's all because he appeared in traffic court virtually while he was operating. The judge in the case didn't seem too amused. Take a look.
I'm seeing a defendant that's in the middle of an operating room appearing to be actively engaged in providing services to a patient. Is that correct, Mr. Green?
Yes, sir.
I do not feel comfortable for the welfare of a patient if you're in the process of operating that I would put on a trial.
So I have another surgeon right here who's doing the surgery with me, so I can stand here and allow them to do the surgery also.
Not at all. I don't think so. I don't think that's appropriate.
Wow. The judge then went on to reschedule the trial. The medical board in California is reportedly investigating. Now, I did read a lot of the comments and people were pointing out, yes, he had another surgeon there. I don't care. There's a reason why there's a whole team. My sister's an ER nurse. I'm dealing with a lot of doctors right now because of our brother-in-law in the hospital. There's supposed to be a team. There's supposed to be multiple doctors. There's supposed to be multiple nurses so you can cross-check and double-check and collectively all heal that individual. Shame on this doctor. Shame on him.
Is there proof that he was really in surgery?
Do you think he made it up?
I'm taking the other side. What if he's kind of gaslighting the court and he's like, I'm important. I don't need to be taking time out of my surgeries to come and sit through this trial. Maybe he's just doing that to get a rise out of the judge.
Jeff,
or get out of it.
I'm going to push back on you, and this might be unpopular, Erica, but he is important. That doctor is important, especially if it's your mother or your father that's in surgery. And I do think there's a certain part of the way we've set up everything where it seems like we are messing with our citizens. For a doctor to have to go into work to deal with some traffic-related thing, surgeries are scheduled one on top of each other. You cannot miss a day. He's a plastic surgeon, so that kills my argument. But some people still need that and need that done.
Well, hold on.
Why is he wasting his time in traffic court?
Well,
no, you're actually agreeing with me.
First of all, any surgery, and Erica chime in, any surgery is a risk, even if it isn't an elective plastic surgery. So we don't know if this is a reconstructive surgery, but regardless, we've heard the stories. I believe Kanye West's mom went into an elective surgery.
Yes.
Same with Joan Rivers went into an elective surgery. So let's remember, just because it might be an elective surgery, that doctor has an oath to protect that patient and do the best job possible doing that.
I think we're talking a lot of X's and O's about the doctor's responsibility, but at the end of the day, I think that this was chock full of arrogance and it backfired. I don't find this doctor's time to be any more important than a single mom who has 3 children who has to take the day off work and also pay to park or public transportation to go to court in order to get to be in traffic court. And it happens every day. So I'm sure that this doctor felt like they had a point to prove. But my point is, he is no more important than anyone else who has to go to traffic court. And I think that he was trying to prove his importance by pulling the stunt, and essentially it backfired.
And Erica, really quickly, that was my point. It seems like sometimes when I'm in traffic court, I feel like my time is being purposely wasted. It's in the middle of the day, middle of the work week, and I think a lot of people are frustrated. It's like, why are you ticketing my car at lunchtime when you know I'm working downtown? It's a lot of people are frustrated.
Coming up on DBL, we are announcing the big winner of our luxurious date night giveaway. Lots of luxury products sure to impress your sweetie. And next, our medical expert, Dr. Payal Kohli, returns to tackle the latest COVID vaccine headlines. Now there is a true awesome doctor. We'll be right back with her. Stay tuned. There she is, Gabby Tuft. Welcome to DBL. So your personal story is definitely one of inner strength despite your previous physique and career as a male professional wrestler who your fans once knew as Tyler Rex.
In the new report, the CDC tested 3 mask methods to see which blocked the most particles. Now, the tests show a normal-fitting disposable medical mask blocks about 42% of particles. A normal cloth mask is slightly more snug and blocks about 44%. Things get better if you, quote, knot and tuck the mask. That looks like this. You make knots in the ear loops and then tuck the excess fabric in for a tighter fitting mask. This method blocks about 63 to 65% of particles. Finally, they tried a double mask, a cloth mask on top of a disposable medical mask. This was most effective by far, blocking about 92.5% of cough particles. That's more than double the effectiveness of either mask alone. After this test, the CDC put out new guidance for wearing a mask. They say the more snug, the better, and recommend multiple options, including double masks or using the knot and tuck method. Bottom line, yes, CDC data shows that 2 masks, cloth and disposable, are better than 1 at preventing the spread of COVID. That's verified. They also add what not to do. They say don't double up disposable masks or double up with a KN95 mask. With your Verify, I'm Jason Puckett.
Welcome back to DBL. We've got good news, DBL Nation. We now have 3 COVID-19 vaccines.
Yay.
Hallelujah. Earlier, Tori, Al, and Lindsay spoke with our medical expert, Dr. Payal Kohli, about which one to get. Take a look.
Now, we know you've already gotten your vaccine, but we really want to know, if you had to choose one now, which of the 3 would you choose?
That is $1 million question, Tori. But before I give you my answer, I want to hear your answers. So which ones would you guys choose right now based on what you know?
Pfizer for me, only because it's been studied more, even though it's 2 shots as opposed to the Johnson & Johnson.
I say Pfizer because my dad got Pfizer and he was fine. My mom had symptoms after she got the Moderna one, but I don't know.
Oh, I hold stock in Moderna, so Moderna. Best one ever.
So none of you guys picked Johnson & Johnson? I'm a little bit disappointed to hear that.
I know.
Trust it. Not yet.
Well, so let me just tell you something about Johnson & Johnson. In fact, the technology that the Johnson & Johnson vaccine uses has been around substantially longer than either Pfizer or Moderna, which is actually a much newer technology. In fact, the data from Johnson & Johnson has over 193,000 patients historically that have received this type of technology vaccine and other vaccines such as Ebola. So my answer is, you guys, I would choose any of them. Whichever one was first made available to me, that's what I'm telling my family members to do, because if you look at the numbers, I call it number soup because there's so many numbers about efficacy floating around, but really 2 numbers that matter. How good is it at preventing serious illness? And this Johnson & Johnson vaccine is 85% compared to Moderna and Pfizer, which are about 94%. And then second, how good is it at keeping me out of the hospital, keeping me out of the ICU, and keeping me alive? Because if I get the virus, it's more likely to be something that I, recover from at home. And it's 100% effective at doing that, just like the others.
Well, she was a trick question.
Yeah, so like I said, Johnson & Johnson.
Johnson & Johnson.
Always had my vote.
That's right.
And Doc, the Johnson & Johnson, if I'm correct, is just 1 shot, right?
It's one shot L. That's one of the big advantages. It's much more stable, and so you don't have as many preservatives. You're not having as many allergic reactions either. So from a public health perspective, it's tremendous because we can get people vaccinated in 2 weeks rather than waiting 4 to 6 weeks like with Pfizer and Moderna.
Johnson & Johnson. We said it from the beginning.
So, Dr. Coley, now that we have 3 vaccines to choose from, are there realistic advantages for certain people to get certain vaccines? I know you're telling your family to get any one available, but is there a reason why somebody would get a certain one?
Good call.
Yeah, so I would say, Lindsay, only if you've had an allergic reaction to a component of one of the other vaccines would you go for one or the other. They did look at subgroup analysis, so they broke down the pie into smaller subgroups. And with Johnson & Johnson, those over the age of 65 with medical problems or those with HIV, they still need more data on. But really, you can get any of them. And I want to be careful not to compare the numbers head to head, because we're actually talking about 2 different time periods. Last year, when we studied Moderna and Pfizer, we didn't have the variants. And it's possible that if we studied them now, like we did Johnson & Johnson, their performance might change because we now have the variants. So, we have to be careful about saying one is better than the other. They're all really good vaccines, and we just have to get that vaccine as soon as it's available to us.
I just remember meeting Dr. Coley, and from then till now, where we have 3 is a big step. So let's all be grateful for that.
Right.
And be grateful for Dr. Coley just as a person, because she's wonderful. Thank you so much, Doctor. We'll be right back.
My girl.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Medical misinformation is everywhere online, and that's why the Verify team turns to the vetted experts to fact-check claims like these, which say that people who wear glasses are up to 3 times less likely to catch COVID. So let's verify. Are people who wear glasses less likely to develop COVID-19? Our sources are 2 professors, Dr. Sonal Tooley at the University of Florida and Dr. Catherine Colby at NYU Langone Health. We also looked at this study, a research article out of India. Here's what our experts had to say about this claim.
So at this point, we cannot tell you for certain.
We don't have any evidence.
This claim started to get attention when news outlets caught wind of a study out of India, which looked at 304 patients with mild COVID-19, concluding that those who wore glasses for more than 8 hours a day or sunglasses outside were 2 to 3 times less likely to catch COVID-19. Dr. Colby pointed out that this study is only a preprint, which means it hasn't been peer-reviewed.
I don't put any stock in publications that haven't gone through the peer-reviewed process.
In fact, the website that published the report says that preprints, quote, should not be relied on to guide clinical practice or health-related behavior, and should not be reported in news media as established information. Even the author noted the limitations, writing that the sample size was small, the study period was short, and that, quote, more studies should be done to know the effects of using spectacles on the epidemiology of COVID-19.
It's a good pilot study, something that we want to look at and then build from.
So we can verify that our experts say at this point, there's no definitive evidence that glasses wearers have a smaller risk of developing COVID-19. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozloff, 5 on your side.
DBL is all new every day.
Don't look at me like with that face, because I'm telling you how I feel.
I'm not buying his story.
No, I'm just being honest. He's trying to get clout.
I'm going to wear a 10-gallon hat.
Stick with us in 2021. We're going to have a great year.
The winter storm that hit Texas could raise grocery prices. Let's connect the dots. During the winter months, Texas is one of the few places inside the U.S. that is a source for fresh fruits and vegetables. But the deep freeze has devastated many of those crops, everything from kale to citrus trees. Some crops did better than others. Officials in Texas say onions and cabbage seem to suffer the least damage, but farmers still reporting a 20% loss of those crops as well. There are other states stores can go to for fresh fruits and vegetables like Arizona and Florida, so you will be able to find produce in stores, but it'll probably cost more, especially in the near future. That's because stores have to sort out the logistics of getting products from new suppliers, and that will take time and money. The storm could also have long-term effects. Many farmers had already planted valuable spring crops. Now those same farmers are scrambling to replant, but that will be costly. And that is connecting the dots.
Welcome back to DBL. Lots of Dr. Seuss comments. Richard says, I have never read a Dr. Seuss book and thought it was racist. Terry says, this is bull. So is the potato head. Come on, people. Serena says, those books, the old cartoons mainly, depict stereotypical racist depictions of non-whites. Unfortunately, that was the norm. It's not anymore, period. Debbie says, preach, Jeff. Agnes says, the publisher can choose to publish or not. Disney does it all the time, mainly to boost sales
and Sam,
later.
can I jump in? Because I have a comment from my girl's mother who wrote in, and she says, I worked in the kids section of a bookstore for 2 years. Never saw those books in the Dr. Seuss extensive section. Had shelves of Dr. Seuss.
Wow.
So these were not popular books, but yet we're talking about them.
Right.
So
to your conspiracy theory point.
I don't know.
If you're leaving us, you can catch the second half of the show on Facebook or YouTube. But if you're sticking around, here's what's coming up on DBL. We are chronicling the life-altering surgeries that have changed a model's life forever. She tells us how she's getting through it. Plus, bad blood, why Taylor Swift is taking offense to a joke on a Netflix show. And a big old thank you to our coworkers who are watching from home right now as they're working. DBL's new every day. We'll be right back.
Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Welcome to DBL. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Al. Erica joins us from home. Okay, so Taylor Swift is slamming Netflix over a joke about her. Taylor wasn't impressed when the Netflix show Ginny and Georgia referenced her dating history. The show about a young mother and her teenage daughter included the line, quote, "What do you care? You go through men faster than Taylor Swift." Taylor took issue with the line and put the show on blast. She tweeted, quote, "Hey, Ginny and Georgia, 2010 called and it wants its lazy, deeply sexist joke back. How about we stop degrading hardworking women by defining this horse bleep as funny?" Jeff, Al, you're the comic. Did you think that the joke was lazy, sexist? Does she have a point?
It doesn't matter, Sam, because I honestly feel like great jokes and terrible jokes and offensive jokes and jokes you'll take with you forever as jokes that change your perspective come from the same place. And it's weird with art that we want it to be this free-wielding thing, and we can't imagine, you know, what we want until it's done, and you're like, what a great sculpture, what an abstract painting. I didn't think I'd like that. But when we don't know until we get there. So is it a bad joke? Yeah. Is it a corny joke? Yeah. But like, so
is it a sexist joke?
Is it a Yeah. I mean, yes, I guess. I mean, if it was dudes, could you have said faster than the Brad Pitt or somebody who's known for being a Leo DiCaprio? Would that have been as bad?
But deeply sexist? You wrote deeply sexist. If you wrote you go through more women than Leonardo DiCaprio goes through 20-year-old models, would we be talking about
well,
this?
we celebrate people like Leonardo DiCaprio, and we call, you know,
that doesn't sound like you're celebrating him.
But typically speaking, you know, we will pat a young man on the back if he has many girlfriends, and then we will completely chastise a young woman if she has many boyfriends, and we will call her things like a slut or promiscuous or make fun of her. So there is context to this, historical context, but did she take it too far, Erica?
I think it's deeper than what we're talking about. She wrote a tweet and expressed her disappointment, not only in the joke, but also in the fact that the joke aired on Netflix, the same streaming service that she really bared her soul and was very vulnerable in Miss Americana, and addressed those allegations and the things that people threw at her during that period of time when everyone was talking about her latest boyfriend. I think that she probably called it lazy because the writing in Jenny and Georgia is actually very smart. It's about female empowerment. It's about women taking ownership over their narratives and standing up for themselves in a lot of respects. So the idea that they would throw this joke in, especially on Netflix, is probably disappointing. And she has every right to at least voice her opinion about something that talks about her name. What is it, Al?
The women are writers, by the way.
That's not a great way to kick things off.
That's a good point.
Honestly, so my question to you, and you know I love you, is it okay to miss? As a writer, as a comic, as a creator, as you who talks on TV every day, live TV, every day for hours and hours, 52 weeks a year, are you allowed to miss? Is a writer allowed to miss? You as a radio person had a lot of pressure on you to miss.
Listen, Al, I have said this a million times on this show. I miss a lot. Okay,
no, you don't, but go ahead.
I'm not sitting here saying I am perfect. A part of who I am is the ability to miss, because that's also a definition of character. So I'm not saying that we need to end the show because they missed a joke. I'm simply saying that I'm not going to jump all up and down over on Taylor Swift for having the right to defend her name. And that's all she's doing. They made a joke. She made a joke. End of discussion.
But her tweets carry weight, Cobb. You know this. If I said something and LeBron James tweeted at me and said that I offended him, that would forever offend me. Truly.
Hold on. No, this is not apples to apples. That's apples to oranges, bro. Because she didn't go after the character, a 15-year-old girl. She went after Netflix. I think that they're kind of in the same weight class. I mean, I would go back and forth with that.
She went after the writers. Netflix isn't a thing. It's just a platform. She went after the writers of that show, and it definitely affected them as individuals.
It was the point on Netflix. No, it was on Netflix. She was expressing her disappointment about the streaming service airing something like that. Remember, Miss Americana was her bearing her soul. She's allowed to do that. She's allowed to say, I'm disappointed in this.
And writers are allowed to write jokes. I know we got to move on. I love you.
Though. Good conversation, you two. So speaking of stars standing up for themselves, Alec Baldwin recently snapped back at a fan on Instagram. So Alec and his wife, Hilaria, recently announced the arrival of their 6th child, a daughter named Lucia. Hilaria gave birth to her son just over 5 months ago. So that had some fans wondering how their daughter came to be. In the comment section of the actor's Instagram post, one person questioned whether the child was adopted or born via surrogate, or even the product of an affair. The fan said if Alec and his wife don't want to say anything, they should stop posting about their family on social media, to which Alec responded, quote, "Shut the bleep up and mind your own business." I'm not one to defend Alec Baldwin, but I'm defending him here. Like, he has every right to post about his family without having to disclose if they were.
I don't know about that.
What are you talking about? He doesn't have to disclose if it's IVF or if it's surrogacy.
He doesn't have to disclose it, but he can't get mad if somebody asks the question because he's posting it on a platform.
They're not asking a question. Read the comments out there. So cruel to their children. Again, Alec Baldwin, not going to condone his previous behavior. We all know, he's battled quite the anger problem, and we may have seen a sliver of that here on the comment.
Good point.
However, if you read those comments, people are attacking him. A lot of people suggesting that baby is a product of an affair. I think that is crossing the line. Leave people's kids out of it. Jeff, what do you think?
I think it's fair. I mean, they posted it, right? They put it out there, and they left themselves open. If I put myself in their shoes, which I always try to do, I would expect to answer the question why my son or daughter is born 5 months after. I'm guessing it's because they were having trouble having a baby. This is all speculation. And it might have been IVF or a surrogate or something like that. I think it's perfectly fine to ask that question. We make it seem like we can't ask anybody questions anymore. Someone with an eating disorder. Do you have an eating disorder? How dare you, Oprah? I'm doing an interview here.
I think it's how
but it's
you ask the question.
Listen, I understand the way that person that we read, or maybe it was an affair. Come on, man, leave that out. You're taking a cheap shot.
That's my point.
You're taking a cheap shot with that.
Yes.
But if you're like, hey, Alec, I'm very concerned. I'm going through surrogacy myself. Did you get this via surrogate? I'm curious about your life. I love you and your wife. I think it's fair to put out there.
Erica, to what Jeff said, if you write it thoughtfully, I don't think you're going to elicit a response from Alec Baldwin if you write it thoughtfully. So I'm just going to take that and remove it because I'm sure there was a lot of thoughtful commentary. The cruel commentary is what, in my opinion, made him lash out. Erica?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's his family, and I would expect the man to defend his family, if not anything else. I'm going to Brene Brown it and say not everyone is deserving of knowing your story.
Yeah.
I mean, if you are asking, it's really about intention. That intention was really poor. It wasn't something to uplift. It was something to provoke.
Yes.
I mean, if they didn't want it to start, then they shouldn't have. If they didn't want him to finish it, they shouldn't have started it.
Yep, I agree. Fully agree with you. Coming up on DBL, we are announcing the winner of our luxurious date night giveaway.
It is me. Thank you.
Nope.
I'm excited.
You are not legally qualified to win this as an employee. It is full of high-end products that'll amp up the romance. Stick around to see if you won. Plus, a model's emotional journey as she makes the life-altering decision to amputate both of her legs, and we reveal a huge surprise. And check out our co-workers at home. We miss you guys. We'll be right back.
Closed captioning provided by
Research shows
Smiling through the pain. It's something Lexi Bader does on a daily basis. We first introduced you to Lexi last year, a successful young model with a debilitating disease.
We're happy to have you back. I know that there's a lot going on, so you have definitely been an inspiration for our audience, and we just want to reconnect with you.
Yeah, I can't wait. Sorry. Yeah, I'm really happy to be here too.
All right, girlfriend. Okay, we're almost ready. I'm gonna count us down, and don't be nervous. You got this. You've already come in. We've already done this. All right, you ready, girl?
I am.
DBL is all new every day.
Don't look at me like with that face because I'm telling you how I feel.
I'm not buying his story.
I'm already fired up.
Yeah.
Good.
Still in
People
Congress.
out there watching who are appalled.
Well, you acted like I just said something crazy.
I'm so far in my head, I don't even know what's going on.
Leave Jeff alone. No, I'm just being honest. He's trying to get clout.
I'm going to wear a 10-gallon hat.
Lucy would have been all over you, honey.
Hey.
Stick with us in 2021. We're going to have a great year. Welcome back to DBL. No matter the obstacle, runway model Lexi Bader refuses to give up. Just last month, Lexi had her second leg amputation with hopes of stopping her chronic pain. We've been following her amazing story since the beginning. Earlier, Erica spoke with her to get the latest and reveal a very special surprise.
Lexi Bader is an expert at hiding her pain behind her smile. After all, she's been doing it for 8 years. Photo shoot after photo shoot, she keeps her secret from the world.
I lay in bed every single day. I usually cry every single day.
Lexi has a rare nerve disease that causes crippling pain in her feet. In 2019, she decides to take aggressive action, choosing to amputate her left leg below the knee.
I wasn't sad at all. Didn't miss it. I just looked down and I was like, yes, no more pain.
But then her disease spreads and the pain returns, forcing her to choose the same fate for her right leg.
I'm scared, and I've been going through like grief. I've been going through anxiety and depression and being scared because, as soon as I do this, everything in my life's gonna be completely different.
In January of this year, doctors amputated her remaining leg.
I moved from the bed to the chair today. Realizing that there's just no feet. I'll never touch sand on my feet again. No one will touch any of my feet again. There's no feet ever again.
Not only is Lexi battling the psychological side of her new reality, she is also fighting extreme pain.
I have so much pain, and it won't go away. I'll stand up and she'll ask me to put it down. Not even all the way down, and it just hurts so bad. I've just been not sleeping well. I don't know. It's just been really hard lately.
In spite of it all, Lexi keeps her smile and keeps pushing forward, taking one day at a time.
It's really hard, but I'm not gonna give up because I want to snowboard next season.
Lexi, welcome back to DBL.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad I'm here once again.
You are like light and grace under fire because it's been just a couple of weeks since your surgery. How are you doing today?
Today I'm actually doing really good, and since my surgery, I've been better than I thought I would be, to be honest.
This isn't your first time, obviously, experiencing this. How has this surgery been different than your first amputation?
I can't hop a lot of places. My back does get really sore sitting in my chair a lot. I do go on my crutches, but my prosthetic side, my left side, isn't used to standing on it as long. So that's been kind of challenging. I've been using my wheelchair a lot. A lot of stuff like going to the bathroom and, just doing things around the house or out in public, getting in a car, in and out of a car. That's a lot of stuff that has been different for me.
Well, Lexi, we so love having you on because you are so transparent with your testimony. You have been an inspiration to so many people. And every time we speak to you, you come fully yourself. But I know that there have been hard parts of this process. So overall, what has been the hardest thing for you?
I think the hardest, it started, in the hospital. This time I wasn't allowed any visitors. And out of all of the surgeries I've had in my life, I've never woken up without my parent there or a friend. And this time was really difficult for me emotionally and physically because I didn't have anyone there for 3 weeks while I was in the hospital. And it hurt so bad. But yeah, that's what's happening this morning. But hopefully my day will get better.
Were there tips or tricks that you used for those weeks that you were in the hospital by yourself that might be of benefit to someone who's in the hospital right now?
Well, the one main thing is just definitely having a strong support system, and that could be family, that could be support groups, that could be virtual support groups, that could be talking with others, reaching out. And I know reaching out for help is something that all of us struggle with, but it's definitely something that you need to get through this, not alone. Definitely making friends with the nurses. I love the nurses. They're always super kind, always do my hair and makeup. And, you know, I had a really bad day one time and I was crying and this one nurse came in, she held my hand and she told me that she, you know, she's here for me and that she'll never let go. And I was just crying in pain and she was just holding my hand. You know, I just needed that because if I was all alone and she wasn't there for me like that, then it would just suck.
I appreciate you sharing that story because I know that's going to resonate with so many others. You have officially become a DBL family member. We think so highly of you. We love you. But we aren't the only ones who want to share your story. So we do have a little surprise for you. We reached out to our friends at Cherry Creek Fashion, a fabulous magazine that focuses on storytelling with fashion, so it seems very much up your alley, and sharing the lives of inspiring people. And girl, they want to do a full spread on your story and put you on the cover of their summer issue.
Oh, look at my armpits, I'm scared. Oh my God, thank you. That's amazing.
Lexi, I am so excited for you. I know the folks at Cherry Creek Fashion, you guys are going to have amazing synergy. I cannot wait to see this photo shoot, girl.
Oh, I don't even know what to say. I'm like blushing, I'm sweating.
It's amazing. And girl, Vogue, okay? Love it.
Yeah, can't wait to see her on the cover and read her story. Lexi's story is far from over. To follow along on her journey, check out her Instagram, @Bader.26. You can also donate to her GoFundMe page. Just search Lexi Bader on GoFundMe.com. What a true warrior she is. We'll be right back. There she is, Gabby Tuft. Welcome to DBL. So your personal story is definitely one of inner strength despite your previous physique and career as a male professional wrestler who your fans once knew as Tyler Rex.
In the new report, the CDC tested 3 mask methods to see which blocked the most particles. Now, the tests show a normal-fitting disposable medical mask blocks about 42% of particles. A normal cloth mask is slightly more snug and blocks about 44%. Things get better if you, quote, knot and tuck the mask. That looks like this. You make knots in the ear loops and then tuck the excess fabric in for a tighter fitting mask. This method blocks about 63 to 65% of particles. Finally, they tried a double mask, a cloth mask on top of a disposable medical mask. This was most effective by far, blocking about 92.5% of cough particles. That's more than double the effectiveness of either mask alone. After this test, the CDC put out new guidance for wearing a mask. They say the more snug, the better, and recommend multiple options, including double masks or using the knot and tuck method. Bottom line, yes, CDC data shows that 2 masks, cloth and disposable, are better than 1 at preventing the spread of COVID. That's verified. They also add what not to do. They say don't double up disposable masks or double up with a KN95 mask. With your Verify, I'm Jason Puckett.
Welcome back to DBL. Today's Heart Threads is all about charity. As Texas temperatures fell, one high school football player sprang into action, reminding us that even small acts of kindness can be life-changing for others.
A Texas teen organized a spontaneous coat drive during freezing weather. Mitchell Crow is one of the standout talents on his high school championship team. And when he noticed homeless residents outside of a local Target, he stepped in.
It was just pretty sad because it was kids younger than me.
According to his coach, Mitchell always finds a way to be responsible.
When it comes to his character as a human, in moments, he's gonna do the right thing.
As temperatures dropped, Mitchell asked social media for help.
Everybody helped. I drove around until probably 1 or 1:30, picking up probably from around 30 different houses.
Mitchell's mother, Michelle, recalls her son's response to people's generosity.
And then when he woke up the next morning, he's like, Mom, I have $700 in my Venmo. I've got to go to Walmart.
I was getting Venmos from random people that I've never heard of. I guess everyone that wanted to help saw that they could and just took the opportunity to.
We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Medical misinformation is everywhere online, and that's why the Verify team turns to the vetted experts to fact-check claims like these, which say that people who wear glasses are up to 3 times less likely to catch COVID. So let's verify. Are people who wear glasses less likely to develop COVID-19? Our sources are 2 professors, Dr. Sonal Tooley at the University of Florida and Dr. Catherine Colby at NYU Langone Health. We also looked at this study, a research article out of India. Here's what our experts had to say about this claim.
So at this point, we cannot tell you for certain.
We don't have any evidence.
This claim started to get attention when news outlets caught wind of a study out of India, which looked at 304 patients with mild COVID-19, concluding that those who wore glasses for more than 8 hours a day or sunglasses outside were 2 to 3 times less likely to catch COVID-19. Dr. Colby pointed out that this study is only a preprint, which means it hasn't been peer-reviewed.
I don't put any stock in publications that haven't gone through the peer-reviewed process.
In fact, the website that published the report says that preprints, quote, should not be relied on to guide clinical practice or health-related behavior, and should not be reported in news media as established information. Even the author noted the limitations, writing that the sample size was small, the study period was short, and that, quote, more studies should be done to know the effects of using spectacles on the epidemiology of COVID-19.
It's a good pilot study, something that we want to look at and then build from.
So we can verify that our experts say at this point, there's no definitive evidence that glasses wearers have a smaller risk of developing COVID-19. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozloff, 5 on your side.
DBL is all new every day.
Don't look at me like with that face, because I'm telling you how I feel.
I'm not buying his story.
No, I'm just being honest. He's trying to get clout.
I'm gonna wear a 10-gallon hat.
Stick with us in 2021. We're gonna have a great year.
The winter storm that hit Texas could raise grocery prices. Let's connect the dots. During the winter months, Texas is one of the few places inside the U.S. that is a source for fresh fruits and vegetables. But the deep freeze has devastated many of those crops, everything from kale to citrus trees. Some crops did better than others. Officials in Texas say onions and cabbage seem to suffer the least damage, but farmers still reporting a 20% loss of those crops as well. There are other states stores can go to for fresh fruits and vegetables like Arizona and Florida, so you will be able to find produce in stores, but it'll probably cost more, especially in the near future. That's because stores have to sort out the logistics of getting products from new suppliers, and that will take time and money. The storm could also have long-term effects. Many farmers had already planted valuable spring crops. Now those same farmers are scrambling to replant, but that will be costly. And that is connecting the dots.
Tomorrow on DBL, from Gabe to Gabby, a former WWE wrestler comes out as transgender and lives her truth for the first time.
I had just reached the point where I could no longer hide who I really was.
That's tomorrow on DBL.
You do not want to miss that interview. Welcome back to DBL. Who is ready for a romantic night at home?
I am, and I can't believe I won this.
You did not win. One lucky DBL viewer is about to elevate their date night plans. It's time to announce the winner of our luxurious date night giveaway. But before we do, let's look at some of the amazing prizes again. We are giving away $1,600 worth of goodies, from luxurious robes to designer shoes, from relaxing facials to delicious chocolates. And don't forget the wine. We had over 5,000 entries, but there can only be one winner, and that person is, drum roll please, Stephen Weber from Brookfield, Wisconsin. You are our lucky winner.
Yes.
Congrats, Stephen.
Stephen, he looks like he's on a romantic vacation anyway.
I know. Wow, how exciting for him.
Yeah.
I didn't know we were going to announce a winner. You're like, drum roll. I'm like, what, now?
Do you feel good? Are you excited?
I was excited. I bet Steve's very
Jeff
excited.
just sat there when you said drum roll, so I was like, maybe I shouldn't be drum rolling.
I was like, well, that's on Friday we're going to do this.
Congrats to Stephen.
Congrats, Stephen. A quick goodbye to our co-workers who tuned in from home. We will see you later, everyone. And of course, Erica, great seeing you. We love you. DBL is new every day. We'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place.
Today on Daily Blast Live.
Is Dr. Seuss being canceled? The controversy that led to some of his books no longer getting published. A third woman is accusing Governor Cuomo of sexual harassment. Now his anchor brother is addressing the allegations.
Obviously, I'm aware of what's going on with my brother.
Taylor Swift calls out a new Netflix show for its joke about her dating history. Was it all in good fun or just flat out sexist? And a model's emotional journey as she decides to amputate both of her legs. Wait until you see the huge surprise we have for her.
Wow, I don't even know what to say. I'm like blushing, I'm sweating.
Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Welcome to DBL. It is Tuesday, March 2nd. Can you believe it's already March 2nd? No. Wow, I'm Sam here with Jeff and Al, and Erica joins us from home. Let's get right to it. You guys all have an opinion on this. Is Dr. Seuss being canceled? So 6 of his books will no longer be published, including the titles If I Ran the Zoo, On Beyond Zebra, and Scrambled Egg Super. So that's according to Dr. Seuss Enterprises. They pulled the books. They decided that they wanted to pull the books because of, quote, racist and insensitive imagery. So here are some examples of the drawings that are being criticized. In a statement, the company said, quote, these books portray people in ways that are hurtful and wrong. Dr. Seuss, whose real name is Theodore Seuss Geisel, died in 1991. The author continues to be super popular for kids, earning an estimated $33 million last year alone. So the question is, and we always love to hear from you, DBL Nation, so continue to write in. Is it okay to pull books like this that may contain racist and hurtful images? Or, in your opinion, is this part of a trend to censor and cancel people unfairly? What would you say, Al?
I'd say that they've already been pulled. Sam, have you ever heard of any of those books, Jeff? Those are definitely like the B-side of whatever was on the other side of Ice Ice Baby, like the song that no one heard.
Redfish, Bluefish.
Yes, like those are not the most popular Dr. Seuss books. So
well, they are now. On
and
eBay,
that's where I'm going,
okay,
Sam.
go. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
You know I'm not a conspiracy guy. But if you have things that aren't selling, what did we see? We saw the old episodes with Sesame Street that people weren't looking at that had the Confederate flag. They mentioned it was canceled. Streams went up. The country singer said the N-word. They said he was canceled. #1 on Billboard. Has been for almost 4 or 5 weeks now. Now we see these books that none of us have heard of. The three of us have 7 kids together combined. Am I doing the math right? Yes. Never heard of any of these books.
I had never heard of them.
And now they're popular. So is that conspiracy, or is this like a new marketing trend, Jeff?
Does that make you extra racist if you bid on one of those books?
Yeah.
I didn't.
No,
I didn't. I'm just saying.
Maybe it's just you taking something that's valuable and flipping it and making a profit.
I would say you're part of the problem then, right? You're racist if you do that. If you're going to call these books racist and now you're profiting off of these books, that's a whole nother question. Listen, I'm going to take the other side on this one, okay? I'm all for getting rid of those 6 books. I don't think little kids need to look at those images and it needs to be explained. You get rid of that. But now Dr. Seuss is a whole different thing. President Biden took it off the Read Across America. Dr. Seuss is gone. Obama read from it. Michelle Obama read from it. Multiple presidents read from Dr. Seuss. Now Dr. Seuss is being canceled. That's fine. Mr. Potato Head last week, Dr. Seuss today, Chris Harrison challenged a comment. Challenged, didn't say anything derogatory. Challenged a comment. Chris Harrison gone. I could keep going on.
You're talking about from The Bachelor?
From The Bachelor,
okay.
yeah. Just another example. I could keep going on. Where does it end, Al? Where does it end? My thing to you is, if I'm scared to have a conversation, that's what growing is all about. That's what getting past racism and all these things that people are insecure about or aren't aware of, to have a conversation about it and be educated about it, right?
Right.
If you're scaring people away because they like Dr. Seuss or Mr. Potato Head, and you want to push me away because I like Mr. Potato or Dr. Seuss, how are you going to talk to me about Black Lives Matter? How am I going to listen to that and sit at the table with you, Al, without being in fear that I'm going to say something wrong if you're already questioning me about Mr. Potato Head?
Well,
so how are we supposed to move forward as a country?
You're afraid it's diluting the message.
Diluting? It's already drowned.
Now,
it's at the bottom.
I hear what you're saying, and I want to get Erica involved here. Now, for Erica, for me, I think Jeff has a point. However, why can't we just take it case-by-case basis? Why can't we look at this and go, wow, there's so many books out there that are inclusive. There are so many books out there that are going to help shape our children's mind about being inclusive and non-discriminatory. So yeah, get rid of these books. They fall under that umbrella, and it's Dr. Seuss Enterprises themselves that are removing them. I don't want my child looking at these types of imagery. I don't want it to shape her mindset. So can we take it case by case, or is it going to be a slippery slope, to Jeff's point?
You know, I think that conversations need to be had, and they need to be had in a very open and transparent way. The issue is there are a lot of feelings behind for very appropriate reasons. There is a lot of history of hurt and oppression and suppression that makes people feel some type of way about addressing these conversations on both sides. But the conversation needs to be had, and there are plenty of people who are willing to have those conversations. This was essentially a self-audit. Was there pressure behind Dr. Seuss? Of course there was. But we all have to take a look at how we are going to move forward when it comes to the humanity of this country
country. I don't have to drink from a colored water fountain to understand that there were colored water fountains in this country. So I think that talking about it in the context of history and education is very important. But I think that when you're talking about coming to a table and having an open and honest conversation, you have to be very intentional about what conversation you're walking into, and if everyone at the table is willing to have an open and honest, transparent conversation with you. That's called pick your table.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we try and do here on DBL.
It's a conversation in good faith, and I know we got to move on, but I'm going to say this. There's something in terms of conversations when there has to be a good faith agreement between both people. And when Jeff and I sit down, I know I love him, and he knows that I will do anything for him and his family. So when we have those conversations, it's a different plane than just like I'm trying to get a screenshot so I can end his career.
Then you grow, and that's the goal.
I love you, buddy.
New York Governor Andrew Cuomo is facing a third allegation of unwanted sexual advances. This time, the woman said that Cuomo put his hand on her lower back, was aggressive, and asked if he could kiss her. She says it happened at a wedding reception in 2019, and it left her feeling confused and shocked and embarrassed. 2 former aides of the governor have also accused him of sexual harassment. In a statement on Sunday, the governor said, to be clear, I never inappropriately touched anybody. I never propositioned anybody, and I never intended to make anyone feel uncomfortable. But these allegations that New Yorkers deserve answers to. Meantime, the governor's brother, anchor Chris Cuomo, addressed the story briefly on CNN last night. Here's what he said.
Obviously, I'm aware of what's going on with my brother. And obviously, I cannot cover it because he is my brother. Now, of course, CNN has to cover it. They have covered it extensively, and they will continue to do so.
The New York Attorney General announced yesterday she could move forward with an independent investigation, and more people are calling for his resignation. What do you make of these allegations, Jeff?
I think you got to do your due diligence. Look into it just like anything else. I don't think Republican, I was going to say color matters on this one, red or blue color, watch out, watch out. But I was going to say Republican or Democrat, it doesn't matter. If you're under investigation, you're under investigation. It really doesn't matter what color you are, what different your party is, what sex you are. If there's allegations, you got to get through those, and if it comes out clean in the end, keep going with your life. If not, then there needs to be repercussions.
There needs, yeah. If first of all, there has to be an independent investigation, and we need to find out everything that Governor Cuomo has done, not only in power, but perhaps before he became into power, because in my opinion, I don't care who you are, you got to be held accountable. So if they do find it, he needs to resign. We need to start weeding these politicians out, Erica. Weed them out.
Well, where do we start, Sam? I mean, honestly, when it comes down to it, there's so much that we don't know about people. When we're electing officials, most of the time we're dealing with their policies. It takes someone super brave to walk forward and say, hey, I don't believe that this person should be in power based on this thing that indicates something negative about their character. And more people are being emboldened to do that. I'm not saying guilt or innocent, as I have said before. I'll let that all ride. But for anyone, when it really comes down to it. But I think we have an investigation to wait for.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming up on DBL, Taylor Swift lashes out against Netflix after one of its shows made a joke at her expense. Does she need to lighten up, or does she have a point? Plus, a young model's emotional journey as she chooses to amputate not one, but both of her legs. It is an incredible story of perseverance, and a plastic surgeon makes a virtual court appearance from, the operating room. We'll tell you what's going on about that next.
Closed captioning provided by Smiling through the pain. It's something Lexi Bader does on a daily basis. We first introduced you to Lexi last year, a successful young model with a debilitating disease.
We're happy to have you back. I know that there's a lot going on, so you have definitely been an inspiration for our audience, and we just want to reconnect with you.
Yeah, I can't wait. Sorry. Yeah, I'm really happy to be here too.
All right, girlfriend. Okay, we're almost ready. I'm gonna count us down, and don't be nervous. You got this. You've already come in. We've already done this. All right, you ready, girl?
I am.
DBL is all new every day.
Don't look at me like with that face, because I'm telling you how I feel.
I'm not buying his story.
I'm already fired up.
Good.
Still in
People
Congress.
out there watching who are appalled.
Well, you acted like I just said something crazy.
I'm so far like in my head, I don't even know what's going on.
Leave Jeff alone. No, I'm just being honest. He's trying to get clout.
I'm going to wear a 10-gallon hat.
Lucy would have been all over you, honey.
Hey.
Stick with us in 2021. We're going to have a great year. Welcome back, DBL. Check out all of our coworkers at home during the pandemic, keeping up the great work. We love you guys, miss you. All right, so a plastic surgeon in California is under fire. It's all because he appeared in traffic court virtually while he was operating. The judge in the case didn't seem too amused. Take a look.
I'm seeing a defendant that's in the middle of an operating room, appearing to be actively engaged in providing services to a patient. Is that correct, Mr. Green?
Yes, sir.
I do not feel comfortable for the welfare of a patient if you're in the process of operating that I would put on a trial.
Sir, I have another surgeon right here who's doing the surgery with me, so I can stand here and allow them to do the surgery also.
Not at all. I don't think so. I don't think that's appropriate.
Wow. The judge then went on to reschedule the trial. The medical board in California is reportedly investigating. Now, I did read a lot of the comments and people were pointing out, yes, he had another surgeon there. I don't care. There's a reason why there's a whole team. My sister's an ER nurse. I'm dealing with a lot of doctors right now because of our brother-in-law in the hospital. There's supposed to be a team. There's supposed to be multiple doctors. There's supposed to be multiple nurses so you can cross-check and double-check and collectively all heal that individual. Shame on this doctor. Shame on him.
Is there proof that he was really in surgery?
You think he made it up?
I'm just, hey, I'm taking the other side. What if he's kind of gaslighting the court and he's like, I'm important. I don't need to be taking time out of my surgeries to come and sit through this trial. Maybe he's just doing that to get a rise out of the judge.
Jeff,
or
I'm going to push back on you, and this might be unpopular, Erica, but he is important. That doctor is important, especially if it's your mother or your father that's in surgery. And I do think there's a certain part of the way we've set up everything where it seems like we are messing with our citizens. For a doctor to have to go into work to deal with some traffic-related thing, surgeries are scheduled one on top of each other. You cannot miss a day. He's a plastic surgeon, so that kills my argument. But some people still need that and need that done.
Well, hold on.
Why is he wasting his time in traffic court?
Well,
no, you're actually agreeing with me.
First of all, any surgery, and Erica chime in, any surgery is a risk, even if it is an elective plastic surgery. So we don't know if this is a reconstructive surgery, but regardless, we've heard the stories. I believe Kanye West's mom went into an elective surgery.
Yes.
Same with Joan Rivers went into an elective surgery. So let's remember, just because it might be an elective surgery, that doctor has an oath to protect that patient and do the best job possible doing that.
I think we're talking a lot of X's and O's about the doctor's responsibility, but at the end of the day, I think that this was chock full of arrogance and it backfired. I don't find this doctor's time to be any more important than a single mom who has 3 children who has to take the day off work and also pay to park or public transportation to go to court in order to get to be in traffic court. And it happens every day. So I'm sure that this doctor felt like they had a point to prove. But my point is, he is no more important than anyone else who has to go to traffic court. And I think that he was trying to prove his importance by pulling the stunt, and essentially it backfired.
And Erica, really quickly, that was my point. It seems like sometimes when I'm in traffic court, I feel like my time is being purposely wasted. It's in the middle of the day, middle of the work week, and I think a lot of people are frustrated. It's like, why are you ticketing my car at lunchtime when you know I'm working downtown? It's a lot of people are frustrated.
Coming up on DBL, we are announcing the big winner of our luxurious date night giveaway. Lots of luxury products sure to impress your sweetie. And next, our medical expert, Dr. Payal Kohli, returns to tackle the latest COVID vaccine headlines. Now there is a true awesome doctor. We'll be right back with her. Stay tuned. There she is, Gabby Tuft. Welcome to DBL. So your personal story is definitely one of inner strength despite your previous physique and career as a male professional wrestler who your fans once knew as Tyler Rex.
In the new report, the CDC tested 3 mask methods to see which blocked the most particles. Now, the tests show a normal-fitting disposable medical mask blocks about 42% of particles. A normal cloth mask is slightly more snug and blocks about 44%. Things get better if you, quote, knot and tuck the mask. That looks like this. You make knots in the ear loops and then tuck the excess fabric in for a tighter fitting mask. This method blocks about 63 to 65% of particles. Finally, they tried a double mask, a cloth mask on top of a disposable medical mask. This was most effective by far, blocking about 92.5% of cough particles. That's more than double the effectiveness of either mask alone. After this test, the CDC put out new guidance for wearing a mask. They say the more snug, the better, and recommend multiple options, including double masks or using the knot and tuck method. Bottom line, yes, CDC data shows that 2 masks, cloth and disposable, are better than 1 at preventing the spread of COVID. That's verified. They also add what not to do. They say don't double up disposable masks or double up with a KN95 mask. With your Verify, I'm Jason Puckett.
Welcome back to DBL. We've got good news, DBL Nation. We now have 3 COVID-19 vaccines.
Yay.
Hallelujah. Earlier, Tori, Al, and Lindsay spoke with our medical expert, Dr. Payal Kohli, about which one to get. Take a look.
Now, we know you've already gotten your vaccine, but we really want to know, if you had to choose one now, which of the 3 would you choose?
That is $1 million question, Tori. But before I give you my answer, I want to hear your answers. So which ones would you guys choose right now based on what you know?
Pfizer for me, only because it's been studied more, even though it's 2 shots as opposed to the Johnson & Johnson.
I say Pfizer because my dad got Pfizer and he was fine. My mom had symptoms after she got the Moderna one, but I don't know.
Oh, I hold stock in Moderna, so Moderna. Best one ever.
So none of you guys picked Johnson & Johnson? I'm a little bit disappointed to hear that.
I know.
Trust it. Not yet.
Well, so let me just tell you something about Johnson & Johnson. In fact, the technology that the Johnson & Johnson vaccine uses has been around substantially longer than either Pfizer or Moderna, which is actually a much newer technology. In fact, the data from Johnson & Johnson has over 193,000 patients historically that have received this type of technology vaccine and other vaccines such as Ebola. So my answer is, you guys, I would choose any of them. Whichever one was first made available to me, that's what I'm telling my family members to do. Because if you look at the numbers, I call it numbers soup because there's so many numbers about efficacy floating around, but really two numbers that matter. How good is it at preventing serious illness? And this Johnson & Johnson vaccine is 85% compared to Moderna and Pfizer, which are about 94%. And then second, how good is it at keeping me out of the hospital, keeping me out of the ICU, and keeping me alive? Because if I get the virus, it's more likely to be something that I, recover from at home. And it's 100% effective at doing that, just like the others.
Well, she was a trick question.
Yeah, so like I said, Johnson & Johnson.
Johnson & Johnson.
Always had my vote.
That's right.
And Doc, the Johnson & Johnson, if I'm correct, is just one shot, right?
It's one shot, Al. That's one of the big advantages. It's much more stable, and so you don't have as many preservatives. You're not having as many allergic reactions either. So from a public health perspective, it's tremendous because we can get people vaccinated in 2 weeks rather than waiting 4 to 6 weeks like with Pfizer and Moderna.
Johnson & Johnson. We said it from the beginning.
So, Dr. Coley, now that we have 3 vaccines to choose from, are there realistic advantages for certain people to get certain vaccines? I know you're telling your family to get any one available, but is there a reason why somebody would get a certain one?
Good call.
Yeah, so I would say, Lindsay, only if you've had an allergic reaction to a component of one of the other vaccines would you go for one or the other. They did look at subgroup analysis, so they broke down the pie into smaller subgroups. And with Johnson & Johnson, those over the age of 65 with medical problems or those with HIV, they still need more data on. But really, you can get any of them. And I want to be careful not to compare the numbers head to head because we're actually talking about 2 different time periods. Last year, when we studied Moderna and Pfizer, we didn't have the variants. And it's possible that if we studied them now, like we did Johnson & Johnson, their performance might change because we now have the variants. So, we have to be careful about saying one is better than the other. They're all really good vaccines, and we just have to get that vaccine as soon as it's available to us.
I just remember meeting Dr. Coley, and from then till now, where we have 3 is a big step. So let's all be grateful for that.
That's right.
And be grateful for Dr. Coley just as a person, because she's wonderful. Thank you so much, Doctor. We'll be right back.
My girl.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Medical misinformation is everywhere online, and that's why the Verify team turns to the vetted experts to fact-check claims like these, which say that people who wear glasses are up to 3 times less likely to catch COVID. So let's verify. Are people who wear glasses less likely to develop COVID-19? Our sources are 2 professors, Dr. Sonal Tooley at the University of Florida and Dr. Catherine Colby at NYU Langone Health. We also looked at this study, a research article out of India. Here's what our experts had to say about this claim.
So at this point, we cannot tell you for certain.
We don't have any evidence.
This claim started to get attention when news outlets caught wind of a study out of India, which looked at 304 patients with mild COVID-19, concluding that those who wore glasses for more than 8 hours a day or sunglasses outside were 2 to 3 times less likely to catch COVID-19. Dr. Colby pointed out that this study is only a preprint, which means it hasn't been peer-reviewed.
I don't put any stock in publications that haven't gone through the peer-reviewed process.
In fact, the website that published the report says that preprints, quote, should not be relied on to guide clinical practice or health-related behavior, and should not be reported in news media as established information. Even the author noted the limitations, writing that the sample size was small, the study period was short, and that, quote, more studies should be done to know the effects of using spectacles on the epidemiology of COVID-19.
It's a good pilot study, something that we want to look at and then build from.
So we can verify that our experts say at this point, there's no definitive evidence that glasses wearers have a smaller risk of developing COVID-19. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozloff, 5 on your side.
DBL is all new every day.
Don't look at me like with that face because I'm telling you how I feel.
I'm not buying his story.
No, I'm just being honest. He's trying to get clout.
I'm going to wear a 10-gallon hat.
Stick with us in 2021. We're going to have a great year.
The winter storm that hit Texas could raise grocery prices. Let's connect the dots. During the winter months, Texas is one of the few places inside the U.S. that is a source for fresh fruits and vegetables. But the deep freeze has devastated many of those crops, everything from kale to citrus trees. Some crops did better than others. Officials in Texas say onions and cabbage seem to suffer the least damage, but farmers still reporting a 20% loss of those crops as well. There are other states stores can go to for fresh fruits and vegetables like Arizona and Florida, so you will be able to find produce in stores, but it'll probably cost more, especially in the near future. That's because stores have to sort out the logistics of getting products from new suppliers, and that will take time and money. The storm could also have long-term effects. Many farmers had already planted valuable spring crops. Now those same farmers are scrambling to replant, but that will be costly. And that is Connecting the Dots.
Welcome back to DBL. Lots of Dr. Seuss comments. Richard says, I have never read a Dr. Seuss book and thought it was racist. Terry says, this is bull. So is the potato head. Come on, people. Serena says, those books, the old cartoons mainly, depict stereotypical racist depictions of non-whites. Unfortunately, that was the norm. It's not anymore, period. Debbie says, preach, Jeff. Agnes says, the publisher can choose to publish or not. Disney does it all the time, mainly to boost sales
and Sam,
later.
Can I jump in? Because I have a comment from my girl's mother who wrote in, and she says, I worked in the kids section of the bookstore a bookstore for 2 years. Never saw those books in the Dr. Seuss extensive section. Had shelves of Dr. Seuss.
Wow.
So these were not popular books, but yet we're talking about them.
Right.
So
to your conspiracy theory point.
I don't know.
If you're leaving us, you can catch the second half of the show on Facebook or YouTube. But if you're sticking around, here's what's coming up on DBL. We are chronicling the life-altering surgeries that have changed a model's life forever. She tells us how she's getting through it. Plus, bad blood, why Taylor Swift is taking offense to a joke on a Netflix show. And a big old thank you to our coworkers who are watching from home right now as they're working. DBL's new every day. We'll be right back.
is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to DBL. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Al. Erica joins us from home. Okay, so Taylor Swift is slamming Netflix over a joke about her. Taylor wasn't impressed when the Netflix show Ginny and Georgia referenced her dating history. The show about a young mother and her teenage daughter included the line, quote, "What do you care? You go through men faster than Taylor Swift." Taylor took issue with the line and put the show on blast. She tweeted, quote, "Hey, Ginny and Georgia, 2010 called and it wants its lazy, deeply sexist joke back. How about we stop degrading hardworking women by defining this horse bleep as funny?" Jeff, Al, you're the comic. Did you think that the joke was lazy, sexist? Does she have a point?
It doesn't matter, Sam, because I honestly feel like great jokes and terrible jokes and offensive jokes and jokes you'll take with you forever as jokes that change your perspective come from the same place. And it's weird with art that we want it to be this free-wielding thing, and we can't imagine you know what we want until it's done, and you're like, what a great sculpture, what an abstract painting, I didn't think I'd like that. But when we don't know until we get there. So is it a bad joke? Yeah. Is it a corny joke? Yeah, but like, so
is it a sexist joke?
Is it a sex? Yeah, I mean, yes, I guess. I mean, if it was dudes, could you have said faster than the Brad Pitt or somebody who's known for being a Leo DiCaprio? Would that have been as bad?
But deeply sexist, you wrote deeply sexist. If you wrote, you go through more women than Leonardo DiCaprio goes through 20-year-old models. Would we be talking about this?
We celebrate people like Leonardo DiCaprio, and we call, you know,
that doesn't sound like we're celebrating him.
But typically speaking, you know, we will pat a young man on the back if he has many girlfriends, and then we will completely chastise a young woman if she has many boyfriends, and we will call her things like a slut or promiscuous or make fun of her. So there is context to this, historical context, but did she take it too far, Erica?
I think it's deeper than what we're talking about. She wrote a tweet and expressed her disappointment, not only in the joke, but also in the fact that the joke aired on Netflix, the same streaming service that she really bared her soul and was very vulnerable in Miss Americana, and addressed those allegations and the things that people threw at her during that period of time when everyone was talking about her latest boyfriend. I think that she probably called it lazy because the writing in Ginny and Georgia is actually very smart. It's about female empowerment. It's about women taking ownership over their narratives and standing up for themselves in a lot of respects. So the idea that they would throw this joke in, especially on Netflix, is probably disappointing. And she has every right to at least voice her opinion, Erica, about something that talks about her name. What is it, Al?
The women are writers, by the way.
That's not a great way to kick things off.
That's a good point.
Honestly, my question to you, and you know I love you, is it okay to miss? As a writer, as a comic, as a creator, as you who talks on TV every day, live TV, every day for hours and hours, 52 weeks a year, are you allowed to miss? Is a writer allowed to miss? You as a radio person had a lot of pressure on you to miss.
Listen, Al, I have said this a million times on this show. I miss a lot. Okay,
no, you don't, but go ahead.
I'm not sitting here saying I am perfect. A part of who I am is the ability to miss, because that's also a definition of character. So I'm not saying that we need to end the show because they missed a joke. I'm simply saying that I'm not going to jump all up and down over on Taylor Swift for having the right to defend her name. And that's all she's doing. They made a joke. She made a joke. End of discussion.
But her tweets carry weight, Cobb. You know this. If I said something and LeBron James tweeted at me and said that I offended him, that would forever offend me. Truly.
Hold on. No, this is not apples to apples. That's apples to oranges, bro. Because she didn't go after the character, a 15-year-old girl. She went after Netflix. I think that they're kind of in the same weight class. I mean, I would go back and forth with that.
She went after the writers. Netflix isn't a thing. It's just a platform. She went after the writers of that show, and it definitely affected them as individuals.
But it was the point on Netflix. No, It was on Netflix. She was expressing her disappointment about the streaming service airing something like that. Remember, Miss Americana was her bearing her soul. She's allowed to do that. She's allowed to say, I'm disappointed in this.
And writers are allowed to write jokes. I know we got to move on. I love you.
Though. Good conversation, you two. So speaking of stars standing up for themselves, Alec Baldwin recently snapped back at a fan on Instagram. So Alec and his wife, Hilaria, recently announced the arrival of their 6th child, a daughter named Lucia. Hilaria gave birth to her son just over 5 months ago. So that had some fans wondering how their daughter came to be. In the comment section of the actor's Instagram post, one person questioned whether the child was adopted or born via surrogate, or even the product of an affair. The fan said if Alec and his wife don't want to say anything, they should stop posting about their family on social media, to which Alec responded, quote, "Shut the bleep up and mind your own business." I'm not one to defend Alec Baldwin, but I'm defending him here. Like, he has every right to post about his family without having to disclose if they were...
I don't know about that.
What are you talking about? He doesn't have to disclose if it's IVF or if it's surrogacy.
He doesn't have to disclose it, but he can't get mad if somebody asks the question because he's posting it on a platform.
They're not asking a question. Read the comments out there. So cruel to their children. Again, Alec Baldwin, not going to condone his previous behavior. We all know, you know, he's battled quite the anger problem, and we may have seen a sliver of that here on the comment.
Good point.
However, if you read those comments, people are attacking him. A lot of people suggesting that that baby is a product of an affair. I think that is crossing the line. Leave people's kids out of it. Jeff, what do you think?
I think it's fair. I mean, they posted it, right? They put it out there, and they left themselves open. If I put myself in their shoes, which I always try to do, I would expect to answer the question why my son or daughter is born 5 months after. I'm guessing it's because they were having trouble having a baby. This is all speculation. And it might have been IVF or a surrogate or something like that. I think it's perfectly fine to ask that question. We make it seem like we can't ask anybody questions anymore. Someone with an eating disorder. Do you have an eating disorder? How dare you, Oprah? I'm doing an interview here.
I think it's how
but it's
you
like,
ask the question.
Listen, I understand the way that person that we read, like, or maybe it was an affair. Come on, man, leave that out. You're taking a cheap shot.
That's my point.
You're taking a cheap shot with that.
Yes.
But if you're like, hey, Alec, I'm very concerned. I'm going through surrogacy myself. Did you get this via surrogate? I'm curious about your life. I love you and your wife. I think it's okay. It's fair to put out there.
Erica, to what Jeff said, if you write it thoughtfully, I don't think you're going to elicit a response from Alec Baldwin if you write it thoughtfully. So I'm just going to take that and remove it because I'm sure there was a lot of thoughtful commentary. The cruel commentary is what, in my opinion, made him lash out. Erica?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's his family, and I would expect the man to defend his family, if not anything else. I'm going to Brene Brown it and say not everyone is deserving of knowing your story.
Yeah.
I mean, if you are asking, it's really about intention. That intention was really poor. It wasn't something to uplift. It was something to provoke.
Yes.
I mean, if they didn't want it to start, then they shouldn't have. If they didn't want him to finish it, they shouldn't have started it.
Yep, I agree. Fully agree with you. Coming up on DBL, we are announcing the winner of our luxurious date night giveaway.
It is me. Thank you.
Nope.
I'm excited.
You are not legally qualified to win this as an employee. It is full of high-end products that'll amp up the romance. Stick around to see if you won. Plus, a model's emotional journey as she makes the life-altering decision to amputate both of her legs, and we reveal a huge surprise. And check out our co-workers at home. We miss you guys. We'll be right back.
Closed captioning provided by
Research shows
Smiling through the pain. It's something Lexi Bader does on a daily basis. We first introduced you to Lexi last year, a successful young model with a debilitating disease.
We're happy to have you back. I know that there's a lot going on, so you have definitely been an inspiration for our audience, and we just want to reconnect with you.
Yeah, I can't wait. Sorry. Yeah, I'm really happy to be here too.
All right, girlfriend. Okay, we're almost ready. I'm gonna count us down, and don't be nervous. You got this. You've already come in. We've already done this. All right, you ready, girl?
I am.
DBL is all new every day.
Don't look at me like with that face, because I'm telling you how I feel.
I'm not buying his story.
I'm already fired up.
Yeah.
Good.
Still in
People
Congress.
out there watching who are appalled.
But you acted like I just said something crazy.
I'm so far like in my head, I don't even know what's going on.
alone. No, I'm just being honest. He's trying to get clout.
I'm gonna wear a 10-gallon hat.
Lucy would have been all over you, honey.
Hey.
Stick with us in 2021. We're going to have a great year. Welcome back to DBL. No matter the obstacle, runway model Lexi Bader refuses to give up. Just last month, Lexi had her second leg amputation with hopes of stopping her chronic pain. We've been following her amazing story since the beginning. Earlier, Erica spoke with her to get the latest and reveal a very special surprise.
Lexi Bader is an expert at hiding her pain behind her smile. After all, she's been doing it for 8 years. Photo shoot after photo shoot, she keeps her secret from the world.
I lay in bed every single day. I usually cry every single day.
Lexi has a rare nerve disease that causes crippling pain in her feet. In 2019, she decides to take aggressive action, choosing to amputate her left leg below the knee.
I wasn't sad at all. I didn't miss it. I just looked down and I was like, yes. No more pain.
But then her disease spreads and the pain returns, forcing her to choose the same fate for her right leg.
I'm scared, and I've been going through like grief. I've been going through anxiety and depression and being scared, because as soon as I do this, everything in my life's gonna be completely different.
In January of this year, doctors amputated her remaining leg.
I moved from the bed to the chair today. Realizing that there's just no feet. I'll never touch sand on my feet again. No one will touch any of my feet again. There's no feet ever again.
Not only is Lexi battling the psychological side of her new reality, she is also fighting extreme pain.
I have so much pain, and it won't go away. I'll stand up and she'll ask me to put it down. Not even all the way down, and it just hurts so bad. I've just been not sleeping well. I don't know. It's just been really hard lately.
In spite of it all, Lexi keeps her smile and keeps pushing forward, taking one day at a time.
It's really hard, but I'm not gonna give up because I want to snowboard next season.
Lexi, welcome back to DBL.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad I'm here once again.
You are like light and grace under fire, because it's been just a couple of weeks since your surgery. How are you doing today?
Today I'm actually doing really good, and since my surgery, I've been better than I thought I would be, to be honest.
You know, this isn't your first time obviously experiencing this. How has this surgery been different than your first amputation?
You know, I can't hop a lot of places. My back does get really like sore sitting in my chair a lot. I do go on my crutches, but my aesthetic side, my left side, isn't used to standing on it as long. So that's been kind of challenging. I've been using my wheelchair a lot. A lot of stuff like going to the bathroom and, you know, just doing things around the house or out in public, getting in a car, in and out of a car. That's a lot of stuff that has been different for me.
Well, you know, Lexi, we so love having you on because you are so transparent with your testimony. You have been an inspiration to so many people. And every time we speak to you, you come like fully yourself. But I know that there have been hard parts of this process. So overall, what has been the hardest thing for you?
I think the hardest, I mean, it started, you know, in the hospital. This time I wasn't allowed any visitors. And out of all of the surgeries I've had in my life, I've never woken up without my parent there or a friend. And this time was really difficult for me emotionally and physically because I didn't have anyone there for 3 weeks while I was in the hospital.
And it hurts so bad. But yeah, that's what's happening this morning. But hopefully my day will get better.
Were there tips or tricks that you used for those weeks that you were in the hospital by yourself that might be of benefit to someone who's in the hospital right now?
Well, the one main thing is just definitely having a strong support system, and that could be family, that could be support groups, that could be virtual support groups, that could be talking with others, reaching out. And I know reaching out for help is something that all of us struggle with, but it's definitely something that you need to get through this, not alone. Definitely making friends with the nurses. I love the nurses. They're always super kind, always do my hair, makeup. And, you know, I had a really bad day one time and I was crying and this one nurse came in, she held my hand and she told me that she's here for me and that she'll never let go. And I was just crying in pain and she was just holding my hand. You know, I just needed that because if I was all alone and she wasn't there for me like that, then it would just suck.
I appreciate you sharing that story because I know that's going to resonate with so many others. You have officially become a DBL family member. We think so highly of you. We love you. But we aren't the only ones who want to share your story. So we do have a little surprise for you. We reached out to our friends at Cherry Creek Fashion, a fabulous magazine that focuses on storytelling with fashion, so it seems very much up your alley, and sharing the lives of inspiring people. And girl, they want to do a full spread on your story and put you on the cover of their summer issue.
Oh, look at my armpits, I'm scared. Oh my God, thank you. That's amazing.
Lexi, I am so excited for you. I know the folks at Cherry Creek Fashion, you guys are going to have amazing synergy. I cannot wait to see this photo shoot, girl.
Oh, I don't even know what to say. I'm like blushing, I'm sweating.
It's amazing. And girl, Vogue, okay? Love it.
Yeah, can't wait to see her on the cover and read her story. Lexi's story is far from over. To follow along on her journey, check out her Instagram, @Bader.26. You can also donate to her GoFundMe page. Just search Lexi Bader on GoFundMe.com. What a true warrior she is. We'll be right back. There she is, Gabby Tuft. Welcome to DBL. So your personal story is definitely one of inner strength despite your previous physique and career as a male professional wrestler who your fans once knew as Tyler Rex.
In the new report, the CDC tested 3 mask methods to see which blocked the most particles. Now, the tests show a normal-fitting disposable medical mask blocks about 42% of particles. A normal cloth mask is slightly more snug and blocks about 44%. Things get better if you, quote, knot and tuck the mask. That looks like this. You make knots in the ear loops and then tuck the excess fabric in for a tighter fitting mask. This method blocks about 63 to 65% of particles. Finally, they tried a double mask, a cloth mask on top of a disposable medical mask. This was most effective by far, blocking about 92.5% of cough particles. That's more than double the effectiveness of either mask alone. After this test, the CDC put out new guidance for wearing a mask. They say the more snug, the better, and recommend multiple options, including double masks or using the knot and tuck method. Bottom line, yes, CDC data shows that 2 masks, cloth and disposable, are better than 1 at preventing the spread of COVID. That's verified. They also add what not to do. They say don't double up disposable masks or double up with a KN95 mask. With your Verify, I'm Jason Puckett.
Welcome back to DBL. Today's Heart Threads is all about charity. As Texas temperatures fell, one high school football player sprang into action, reminding us that even small acts of kindness can be life-changing for others.
A Texas teen organized a spontaneous coat drive during freezing weather. Mitchell Crow is one of the standout talents on his high school championship team. And when he noticed homeless residents outside of a local Target, he stepped in.
It was just pretty sad because it was kids younger than me.
According to his coach, Mitchell always finds a way to be responsible.
When it comes to his character as a human, in moments, he's gonna do the right thing.
As temperatures dropped, Mitchell asked social media for help.
Everybody helped. I drove around until probably 1 or 1:30, picking up probably from around 30 different houses.
Mitchell's mother, Michelle, recalls her son's response to people's generosity.
And then when he woke up the next morning, he's like, Mom, I have $700 in my Venmo. I've got to go to Walmart.
I was getting Venmos from random people that I've never heard of. I guess everyone that wanted to help saw that they could and just took the opportunity to.
We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Medical misinformation is everywhere online, and that's why the Verify team turns to the vetted experts to fact-check claims like these, which say that people who wear glasses are up to 3 times less likely to catch COVID. So let's verify. Are people who wear glasses less likely to develop COVID-19? Our sources are 2 professors, Dr. Sonal Tooley at the University of Florida and Dr. Catherine Colby at NYU Langone Health. We also looked at this study, a research article out of India. Here's what our experts had to say about this claim.
So at this point, we cannot tell you for certain.
We don't have any evidence.
This claim started to get attention when news outlets caught wind of a study out of India, which looked at 304 patients with mild COVID-19, concluding that those who wore glasses for more than 8 hours a day or sunglasses outside were 2 to 3 times less likely to catch COVID-19. Dr. Colby pointed out that this study is only a preprint, which means it hasn't been peer-reviewed.
I don't put any stock in publications that haven't gone through the peer-reviewed process.
In fact, the website that published the report says that preprints, quote, should not be relied on to guide clinical practice or health-related behavior, and should not be reported in news media as established information. Even the author noted the limitations, writing that the sample size was small, the study period was short, and that, quote, more studies should be done to know the effect of using spectacles on the epidemiology of COVID-19.
It's a good pilot study, something that we want to look at and then build from.
So we can verify that our experts say at this point, there's no definitive evidence that glasses wearers have a smaller risk of developing COVID-19. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozloff, 5 on your side.
DBL is all new every day.
Don't look at me like with that face, because I'm telling you how I feel.
I'm not buying his story.
No, I'm just being honest. He's trying to get clout.
I'm going to wear a 10-gallon hat.
Stick with us in 2021. We're going to have a great year.
The winter storm that hit Texas could raise grocery prices. Let's connect the dots. During the winter months, Texas is one of the few places inside the U.S. that is a source for fresh fruits and vegetables. But the deep freeze has devastated many of those crops, everything from kale to citrus trees. Some crops did better than others. Officials in Texas say onions and cabbage seem to suffer the least damage, but farmers still reporting a 20% loss of those crops as well. There are other states stores can go to for fresh fruits and vegetables, like Arizona and Florida, so you will be able to find produce in stores, but it'll probably cost more, especially in the near future. That's because stores have to sort out the logistics of getting products from new suppliers, and that will take time and money. The storm could also have long-term effects. Many farmers had already planted valuable spring crops. Now those same farmers are scrambling to replant, but that will be costly. And that is Connecting the Dots.
Tomorrow on DBL, from Gabe to Gabby, a former WWE wrestler comes out as transgender and lives her truth for the first time.
I had just reached the point where I could no longer hide who I really was.
That's tomorrow on DBL.
You do not want to miss that interview. Welcome back to DBL. Who is ready for a romantic night at home?
I am, and I can't believe I won this.
You did not win. One lucky DBL viewer is about to elevate their date night plans. It's time to announce the winner of our luxurious date night giveaway. But before we do, let's look at some of the amazing prizes again. We are giving away $1,600 worth of goodies, from luxurious robes to designer shoes, from relaxing facials to delicious chocolates. And don't forget the wine. We had over 5,000 entries, but there can only be one winner. And that person is, drum roll please, Stephen Weber from Brookfield, Wisconsin. You are our lucky winner.
Yes.
Congrats, Stephen.
Stephen,
Yes,
he looks like he's on a romantic vacation anyway.
I know. Wow, how exciting for him.
Yeah.
I didn't know we were going to announce a winner. You're like, drum roll. I'm like, what, now?
Do you feel good? Are you
Yeah,
excited?
I was excited. I bet Steve's very
Jeff
excited.
just sat there when you said drum roll, so I was like, maybe I shouldn't be drum rolling.
I was like, well, that's on Friday we're going to do this.
Congrats to Stephen.
Congrats, Stephen. A quick goodbye to our co-workers who tuned in from home. We will see you later, everyone. And of course, Erica, great seeing you. We love you. DBL's new every day. We'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place.
Today on Daily Blast Live.
Is Dr. Seuss being canceled? The controversy that led to some of his books no longer getting published. A third woman is accusing Governor Cuomo of sexual harassment. Now his anchor brother is addressing the allegations.
Obviously, I'm aware of what's going on with my brother.
Taylor Swift calls out a new Netflix show for its joke about her dating history. Was it all in good fun or just flat out sexist? And a model's emotional journey as she decides to amputate both of her legs. Wait until you see the huge surprise we have for her.
Oh, I don't even know what to say. I'm like blushing, I'm sweating.
Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Welcome to DBL. It is Tuesday, March 2nd. Can you believe it's already March 2nd? No. Wow, I'm Sam here with Jeff and Al, and Erica joins us from home. Let's get right to it. You guys all have an opinion on this. Is Dr. Seuss being canceled? So 6 of his books will no longer be published, including the titles If I Ran the Zoo, On Beyond Zebra, and Scrambled Egg Super. So that's according to Dr. Seuss Enterprises. They pulled the books. They decided that they wanted to pull the books because of, quote, racist and insensitive imagery. So here are some examples of the drawings that are being criticized. In a statement, the company said, quote, these books portray people in ways that are hurtful and wrong. Dr. Seuss, whose real name is Theodore Seuss Geisel, died in 1991. The author continues to be super popular for kids, earning an estimated $33 million last year alone. So the question is, and we always love to hear from you, DBL Nation, so continue to write in. Is it okay to pull books like this that may contain racist and hurtful images? Or, in your opinion, is this part of a trend to censor and cancel people unfairly? What would you say, Al?
I'd say that they've already been pulled. Sam, have you ever heard of any of those books, Jeff? Those are definitely like the B-side of whatever was on the other side of Ice Ice Baby, like the song that no one heard.
Redfish, Bluefish.
Yes, like those are not the most popular Dr. Seuss books. So
well, they are now.
And that's where I'm going,
okay,
Sam.
Go. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
You know I'm not a conspiracy guy. But if you have things that aren't selling, what did we see? We saw the old episodes with Sesame Street that people weren't looking at that had the Confederate flag. They mentioned it was canceled. Streams went up. The country singer said the N-word. They said he was canceled. #1 on Billboard. Has been for almost 4 or 5 weeks now. Now we see these books that none of us have heard of. The 3 of us have 7 kids together combined. Am I doing the math right? Yes. Never heard of any of these books.
I had never heard of them.
And now they're popular. So is that conspiracy, or is this like a new marketing trend, Jeff?
Does that make you extra racist if you bid on one of those books?
Yeah.
I didn't.
No,
I didn't. I'm just saying.
Maybe it's just you taking something that's valuable and flipping it and making a profit.
I would say you're part of the problem then, right? You're racist if you do that. If you're going to call these books racist and now you're profiting off of these books, that's the whole nother question. Listen, I'm going to take the other side on this one, okay? I'm all for getting rid of those 6 books. I don't think little kids need to look at those images and it needs to be explained. You get rid of that. But now Dr. Seuss is a whole different thing. President Biden took it off the Read Across America. Dr. Seuss is gone. Obama read from it. Michelle Obama read from it. Multiple presidents read from Dr. Seuss. Now Dr. Seuss is being canceled. That's fine. Mr. Potato Head last week, Dr. Seuss today, Chris Harrison challenged a comment. Challenged, didn't say anything derogatory. Challenged a comment. Chris Harrison gone. I could keep going on.
You're talking about from The Bachelor?
From The Bachelor,
okay.
Yeah. Just another example. I could keep going on. Where does it end, Al? Where does it end? My thing to you is, if I'm scared to have a conversation, that's what growing is all about. That's what getting past racism and all these things that people are insecure about or aren't aware of, to have a conversation about it and be educated about it, right?
Right.
If you're scaring people away because they like Dr. Seuss or Mr. Potato Head, and you want to push me away because I like Mr. Potato or Dr. Seuss, how are you going to talk to me about Black Lives Matter? How am I going to listen to that and sit at the table with you, Al, without being in fear that I'm going to say something wrong if you're already questioning me about Mr. Potato Head?
Well,
so how are we supposed to move forward as a country?
You're afraid it's diluting the message.
Diluting? It's already drowned.
Now,
it's at the bottom.
I hear what you're saying, and I want to get Erica involved here. Now, for Erica, for me, I think Jeff has a point. However, why can't we just take it case-by-case basis? Why can't we look at this and go, wow, there's so many books out there that are inclusive. There are so many books out there that are going to help shape shape our children's mind about being inclusive and non-discriminatory. So yeah, get rid of these books. They fall under that umbrella, and it's Dr. Seuss Enterprises themselves that are removing them. I don't want my child looking at these types of imagery. I don't want it to shape her mindset. So can we take it case by case, or is it going to be a slippery slope, to Jeff's point?
You know, I think that conversations need to be had, and they need to be had in a very open and transparent way. The issue is there are a lot of feelings behind for very appropriate reasons. There is a lot of history of hurt and oppression and suppression that makes people feel some type of way about addressing these conversations on both sides. But the conversation needs to be had, and there are plenty of people who are willing to have those conversations. This was essentially a self-audit. Was there pressure behind Dr. Seuss? Of course there was. But we all have to take a look at how we are going to move forward when it comes to the humanity of this country. I don't have to drink from a colored water fountain to understand that there were colored water fountains in this country. So I think that talking about it in the context of history and education is very important. But I think that when you're talking about coming to a table and having an open and honest conversation, you have to be very intentional about what conversation you're walking into. And if everyone at the table is willing to have an open and honest, transparent conversation with you, that's called pick your table.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we try and do here on DBL.
It's a conversation in good faith. And I know we got to move on, but I'm going to say this. There's something in terms of conversations when there has to be a good faith agreement between both people. When Jeff and I sit down, I know I love him, and he knows that I will do anything for him and his family. So when we have those conversations, it's a different plane than just like I'm trying to get a screenshot so I can end his career.
Then you grow, and that's the goal.
I love you, buddy.
New York Governor Andrew Cuomo is facing a third allegation of unwanted sexual advances. This time, the woman said that Cuomo put his hand on her lower back, was aggressive, and asked if he could kiss her. She says it happened at a wedding reception in 2019, and it left her feeling confused and shocked and embarrassed. Two former aides of the governor have also accused him of sexual harassment. In a statement on Sunday, the governor said, to be clear, I never inappropriately touched anybody. I never propositioned anybody, and I never intended to make anyone feel uncomfortable. But these allegations that New Yorkers deserve answers to. Meantime, the governor's brother, anchor Chris Cuomo, addressed the story briefly on CNN last night. Here's what he said.
Obviously, I'm aware of what's going on with my brother. And obviously, I cannot cover it because he is my brother. Now, of course, CNN has to cover it. They have covered it extensively, and they will continue to do so.
The New York Attorney General announced yesterday she could move forward with an independent investigation, and more people are calling for his resignation. What do you make of these allegations, Jeff?
I think you got to do your due diligence. Look into it just like anything else. I don't think Republican, I was going to say color matters on this one, red or blue color. Watch out. Watch out. But I was going to say Republican or Democrat. It doesn't matter. If you're under investigation, you're under investigation. It really doesn't matter what color you are, what different your party is, what sex you are. If there's allegations, you got to get through those. And if it comes out clean in the end, keep going with your life. If not, then there needs to be repercussions.
There needs, yeah. If first of all, there has to be an independent investigation, and we need to find out everything that Governor Cuomo has done, not only in power, but perhaps before he became into power, because in my opinion, I don't care who you are, you got to be held accountable. So if they do find it, he needs to resign. We need to start weeding these politicians out, Erica. Weed them out.
Well, where do we start, Sam? I mean, honestly, when it comes down to it, there's so much that we don't know about people. When we're electing officials, most of the time we're dealing with their policies. It takes someone super brave to walk forward and say, hey, I don't believe that this person should be in power based on this thing that indicates something negative about their character. And more people are being emboldened to do that. I'm not saying guilt or innocent, as I have said before. I'll let that all ride. But for anyone, when it really comes down to it. But I think we have an investigation to wait for.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming up on DBL, Taylor Swift lashes out against Netflix after one of its shows made a joke at her expense. Does she need to lighten up, or Does she have a point? Plus, a young model's emotional journey as she chooses to amputate not one, but both of her legs. It is an incredible story of perseverance, and a plastic surgeon makes a virtual court appearance from, the operating room. We'll tell you what's going on about that next.
Closed captioning provided by Smiling through the pain. It's something Lexi Bader does on a daily basis. We first introduced you to Lexi last year, a successful young model with a debilitating disease.
We're happy to have you back. I know that there's a lot going on, so you have definitely been an inspiration for our audience, and we just want to reconnect with you.
Yeah, I can't wait. Sorry. Yeah, I'm really happy to be here too.
All right, girlfriend. Okay, we're almost ready. I'm gonna count us down, and don't be nervous. You got this. You've already come in. We've already done this. All right, you ready, girl?
I am.
DBL is all new every day.
Don't look at me like with that face, because I'm telling you how I feel.
I'm not buying his story.
I'm already fired up.
Yeah.
Good.
Still in
People out
Congress.
there watching who are appalled.
Well, you acted like I just said something crazy.
I'm so far like in my head, I don't even know what's
Leave
going
Jeff
on.
alone. No, I'm just being honest. He's trying to get clout.
I'm gonna wear a 10-gallon hat.
Lucy would have been all over you, honey.
Hey.
Stick with us in 2021. We're going to have a great year. Welcome back, DBL. Check out all of our coworkers at home during the pandemic, keeping up the great work. We love you guys, miss you. All right, so a plastic surgeon in California is under fire. It's all because he appeared in traffic court virtually while he was operating. The judge in the case didn't seem too amused. Take a look.
I'm seeing a defendant that's in the middle of an operating room, appearing to be actively engaged in providing services to a patient. Is that correct, Mr. Green?
Yes, sir.
I do not feel comfortable for the welfare of a patient if you're in the process of operating that I would put on a trial.
So I have another surgeon right here who's doing the surgery with me, so I can stand here and allow them to do the surgery also.
Not at all. I don't think so. I don't think that's appropriate.
Wow. The judge then went on to reschedule the trial. The medical board in California is reportedly investigating. Now, I did read a lot of the comments and people were pointing out, yes, he had another surgeon there. I don't care. There's a reason why there's a whole team. My sister's an ER nurse. I'm dealing with a lot of doctors right now because of our brother-in-law in the hospital. There's supposed to be a team. There's supposed to be multiple doctors. There's supposed to be multiple nurses so you can cross-check and double-check and collectively all heal that individual. Shame on this doctor. Shame on him.
Is there proof that he was really in surgery?
You think he made it up?
I'm taking the other side. What if he's kind of gaslighting the court and he's like, I'm important. I don't need to be taking time out of my surgeries to come and sit through this trial. Maybe he's just doing that to get a rise out of the judge.
Jeff,
or get out of it.
I'm going to push back on you, and this might be unpopular, Erica, but he is important. that doctor is important, especially if it's your mother or your father that's in surgery. And I do think there's a certain part of the way we've set up everything where it seems like we are messing with our citizens. For a doctor to have to go into work to deal with some traffic-related thing, surgeries are scheduled one on top of each other. You cannot miss a day. He's a plastic surgeon, so that kills my argument. But some people still need that and need that done.
Well, hold on.
Why is he wasting his time in traffic court?
Well,
no, you're actually agreeing with me.
First of all, any surgery, and Erica chime in, any surgery is a risk, even if it is an elective plastic surgery. So we don't know if this is a reconstructive surgery, but regardless, we've heard the stories. I believe Kanye West's mom went into an elective surgery.
Yes.
Same with Joan Rivers went into an elective surgery. So let's remember, just because it might be an elective surgery, that doctor has an oath to protect that patient and do the best job possible doing that.
I think we're talking a lot of X's and O's about the doctor's responsibility, but at the end of the day, I think that this was chock full of arrogance and it backfired. I don't find this doctor's time to be any more important than a single mom who has 3 children who has to take the day off work and also pay to park or public transportation to go to court in order to get to be in traffic court. And it happens every day. So I'm sure that this doctor felt like they had a point to prove. But my point is, he is no more important than anyone else who has to go to traffic court. And I think that he was trying to prove his importance by pulling the stunt, and essentially it backfired.
And Erica, really quickly, that was my point. It seems like sometimes when I'm in traffic court, I feel like my time is being purposely wasted. It's in the middle of the day, middle of the work week, and I think a lot of people are frustrated. It's like, why are you ticketing my car at lunchtime when you know I'm working downtown? It's a lot of people are frustrated.
Coming up on DBL, we are announcing the big winner of our luxurious date night giveaway. Lots of luxury products sure to impress your sweetie. And next, our medical expert, Dr. Payal Kohli, returns to tackle the latest COVID vaccine headlines. Now there is a true awesome doctor. We'll be right back with her. Stay tuned. There she is, Gabby Tuft. Welcome to DBL. So your personal story is definitely one of inner strength despite your previous physique and career as a male professional wrestler who your fans once knew as Tyler Rex.
In the new report, the CDC tested 3 mask methods to see which blocked the most particles. Now, the tests show a normal-fitting disposable medical mask blocks about 42% of particles. A normal cloth mask is slightly more snug and blocks about 44%. Things get better if you, quote, knot and tuck the mask. That looks like this. You make knots in the ear loops and then tuck the excess fabric in for a tighter fitting mask. This method blocks about 63 to 65% of particles. Finally, they tried a double mask, a cloth mask on top of a disposable medical mask. This was most effective by far, blocking about 92.5% of cough particles. That's more than double the effectiveness of either mask alone. After this test, the CDC put out new guidance for wearing a mask. They say the more snug, the better, and recommend multiple options, including double masks or using the knot and tuck method. Bottom line, yes, CDC data shows that 2 masks, cloth and disposable, are better than 1 at preventing the spread of COVID. That's verified. They also add what not to do. They say don't double up disposable masks or double up with a KN95 mask. With your Verify, I'm Jason Puckett.
Welcome back to DBL. We've got good news, DBL Nation. We now have 3 COVID-19 vaccines.
Yay.
Hallelujah. Earlier, Tori, Al, and Lindsay spoke with our medical expert, Dr. Payal Kohli, about which one to get. Take a look.
Now, we know you've already gotten your vaccine, but we really want to know, if you had to choose one now, which of the 3 would you choose?
That is $1 million question, Tori. But before I give you my answer, I want to hear your answers. So which ones would you guys choose right now based on what you know?
Pfizer for me, only because it's been studied more, even though it's 2 shots as opposed to the Johnson & Johnson.
I say Pfizer because my dad got Pfizer and he was fine. My mom had symptoms after she got the Moderna one, but I don't know.
Oh, I hold stock in Moderna, so Moderna. Best one ever.
So none of you guys picked Johnson & Johnson? I'm a little bit disappointed to hear that.
I know.
Trust it. Not yet.
Well, so let me just tell you something about Johnson & Johnson. In fact, the technology that the Johnson & Johnson vaccine uses has been around substantially longer than either Pfizer or Moderna, which is actually a much newer technology. In fact, the data from Johnson & Johnson has over 193,000 patients historically that have received this type of technology vaccine and other vaccines such as Ebola. So my answer is, you guys, I would choose any of them. Whichever one was first made available to me, that's what I'm telling my family members to do. Because if you look at the numbers, I call it number soup because there's so many numbers about efficacy floating around, but really 2 numbers that matter. How good is it at preventing serious illness? And this Johnson & Johnson vaccine is 85% compared to Moderna and Pfizer, which are about 94%. And then second, how good is it at keeping me out of the hospital, keeping me out of the ICU, and keeping me alive? Because if I get the virus, it's more likely to be something that I, recover from at home, and it's 100% effective at doing that, just like the others.
Well, she was a trick question.
Yeah, so like I said, Johnson & Johnson.
Johnson & Johnson.
Always had my vote.
That's right.
And Doc, the Johnson & Johnson, if I'm correct, is just 1 shot, right?
It's 1 shot, Al. That's one of the big advantages. It's much more stable, and so you don't have as many preservatives. You're not having as many allergic reactions either. So from a public health perspective, it's tremendous because we can get people vaccinated in 2 weeks rather than waiting 4 to 6 weeks like with Pfizer and Moderna.
Johnson & Johnson. We said it from the beginning.
So Dr. Coley, now that we have 3 vaccines to choose from, are there realistic advantages for certain people to get certain vaccines? I know you're telling your family to get any one available, but is there a reason why somebody would get a certain one?
Good call.
Yeah, so I would say, Lindsay, only if you've had an allergic reaction to a component of one of the other vaccines would you go for one or the other. They did look at subgroup analysis, so they broke down the pie into smaller subgroups. And with Johnson & Johnson, those over the age of 65 with medical problems or those with HIV, they still need more data on. But really, you can get any of them. And I want to be careful not to compare the numbers head to head because we're actually talking about 2 different time periods. Last year, when we studied Moderna and Pfizer, we didn't have the variants. And it's possible that if we studied them now, like we did Johnson & Johnson, their performance might change because we now have the variants. So, we have to be careful about saying one is better than the other. They're all really good vaccines, and we just have to get that vaccine as soon as it's available to us.
I just remember meeting Dr. Coley, and from then till now, where we have 3 is a big step. So let's all be grateful for that.
Right.
And be grateful for Dr. Coley just as a person, because she's wonderful. Thank you so much, Doctor. We'll be right back.
My girl.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Medical misinformation is everywhere online, and that's why the Verify team turns to the vetted experts to fact-check claims like these, which say that people who wear glasses are up to 3 times less likely to catch COVID. So let's verify. Are people who wear glasses less likely to develop COVID-19? Our sources are 2 professors, Dr. Sonal Tooley at the University of Florida and Dr. Catherine Colby at NYU Langone Health. We also looked at this study, a research article out of India. Here's what our experts had to say about this claim.
So at this point, we cannot tell you for certain.
We don't have any evidence.
This claim started to get attention when news outlets caught wind of a study out of India, which looked at 304 patients with mild COVID-19, concluding that those who wore glasses for more than 8 hours a day or sunglasses outside were 2 to 3 times less likely to catch COVID-19. Dr. Colby pointed out that this study is only a preprint, which means it hasn't been peer-reviewed.
I don't put any stock in publications that haven't gone through the peer-reviewed process.
In fact, the website that published the report says that preprints, quote, should not be relied on to guide clinical practice or health-related behavior, and should not be reported in news media as established information. Even the author noted the limitations, writing that the sample size was small, the study period was short, and that, quote, more studies should be done to know the effects of using spectacles on the epidemiology of COVID-19.
It's a good pilot study, something that we want to look at and then build from.
So we can verify that our experts say at this point, there's no definitive evidence that glasses wearers have a smaller risk of developing COVID-19. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozloff, 5 on your side.
DBL is all new every day.
Don't look at me like with that face, because I'm telling you how I feel.
I'm not buying his story.
No, I'm just being honest. He's trying to get clout.
I'm gonna wear a 10-gallon hat.
Stick with us in 2021. We're gonna have a great year.
The winter storm that hit Texas could raise grocery prices. Let's connect the dots. During the winter months, Texas is one of the few places inside the U.S. that is a source for fresh fruits and vegetables. But the deep freeze has devastated many of those crops, everything from kale to citrus trees. Some crops did better than others. Officials in Texas say onions and cabbage seem to suffer the least damage, but farmers still reporting a 20% loss of those crops as well. There are other states stores can go to for fresh fruits and vegetables like Arizona and Florida, so you will be able to find produce in stores, but it'll probably cost more, especially in the near future. That's because stores have to sort out the logistics of getting products from new suppliers, and that will take time and money. The storm could also have long-term effects. Many farmers had already planted valuable spring crops. Now those same farmers are scrambling to replant, but that will be costly. And that is connecting the dots.
Welcome back to DBL. Lots of Dr. Seuss comments. Richard says, I have never read a Dr. Seuss book and thought it was racist. Terry says, this is bull. So is the potato head. Come on, people. Serena says, those books, the old cartoons mainly, depict stereotypical racist depictions of non-whites. Unfortunately, that was the norm. It's not anymore, period. Debbie says, preach, Jeff. Agnes says, the publisher can choose to publish or not. Disney does it all the time, mainly to boost sales
And Sam,
later.
can I jump in? Because I have a comment from my girl's mother who wrote in, and she says, I worked in the kids section of a bookstore for 2 years. Never saw those books in the Dr. Seuss extensive section. Had shelves of Dr. Seuss.
Wow.
So these were not popular books, but yet we're talking about them.
Right.
So
to your conspiracy theory point.
I don't know.
If you're leaving us, you can catch the second half of the show on Facebook or YouTube. But if you're sticking around, here's what's coming up on DBL. We are chronicling the life-altering surgeries that have changed a model's life forever. She tells us how she's getting through it. Plus, bad blood, why Taylor Swift is taking offense to a joke on a Netflix show. And a big old thank you to our coworkers who are watching from home right now as they're working. DBL's new every day. We'll be right back.
Class Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Welcome to DBL. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Al. Erica joins us from home. Okay, so Taylor Swift is slamming Netflix over a joke about her. Taylor wasn't impressed when the Netflix show Ginny and Georgia referenced her dating history. The show about a young mother and her teenage daughter included the line, quote, "What do you care? You go through men faster than Taylor Swift." Taylor took issue with the line and put the show on blast. She tweeted, quote, "Hey, Ginny and Georgia, 2010 called and it wants its lazy, deeply sexist joke back. How about we stop degrading hardworking women by defining this horse bleep as funny?" Jeff, Al, you're the comic. Did you think that the joke was lazy, sexist? Does she have a point?
It doesn't matter, Sam, because I honestly feel like great jokes and terrible jokes and offensive jokes and jokes you'll take with you forever as jokes that change your perspective come from the same place. And it's weird with art that we want it to be this free-wielding thing, and we can't imagine you know what we want until it's done, and you're like, what a great sculpture, what an abstract painting, I didn't think I'd like that. But when we don't know until we get there. So is it a bad joke? Yeah. Is it a corny joke? Yeah, but like, so
is it a sexist joke?
Is it a sexist? Yeah, I mean, yes, I guess. I mean, if it was dudes, could you have said faster than the Brad Pitt or somebody who's known for being a Leo DiCaprio?
Would
that have been as bad?
But deeply sexist, you wrote deeply sexist. If you wrote, you go through more women than Leonardo DiCaprio goes through 20-year-old models, would we be talking about this?
We celebrate people like Leonardo DiCaprio, and we call,
that doesn't sound like you're celebrating him.
But typically speaking, we will pat a young man on the back if he has many girlfriends, and then we will completely chastise a young woman if she has many boyfriends, and we will call her things like a slut or promiscuous or make fun of her. So there is context to this, historical context, but did she take it too far, Erica?
I think it's deeper than what we're talking about. She wrote a tweet and expressed her disappointment, not only in the joke, but also in the fact that the joke aired on Netflix, the same streaming service that she really bared her soul and was very vulnerable in Miss Americana, and addressed those allegations and the things that people threw at her during that period of time when everyone was talking about her latest boyfriend. I think that she probably called it lazy because the writing in Ginny and Georgia is actually very smart. It's about female empowerment. It's about women taking ownership over their narratives and standing up for themselves in a lot of respects. So the idea that they would throw this joke in, especially on Netflix, is probably disappointing. And she has every right to at least voice her opinion about something that talks about her name. What is it, Al?
The women are writers, by the way.
That's not a great way to kick things off.
That's a good point.
Honestly, so my question to you, and you know I love you, is it okay to miss? As a writer, as a comic, as a creator, as you who talks on TV every day, live TV, every day for hours and hours, 52 weeks a year, are you allowed to miss? Is a writer allowed to miss? You as a radio person had a lot of pressure on you to miss.
Listen, Al, I have said this a million times on this show. I miss a lot. Okay,
no, you don't, but go ahead.
I'm not sitting here saying I am perfect. A part of who I am is the ability to miss, because that's also a definition of character. So I'm not saying that we need to end the show because they missed a joke. I'm simply saying that I'm not going to jump all up and down over on Taylor Swift for having the right to defend her name. And that's all she's doing. They made a joke, she made a joke. End of discussion.
But her tweets carry weight, Cobb. You know this. If I said something and LeBron James tweeted at me and said that I offended him, that would forever
hold on.
offend me, truly.
Hold on. No, that is not, this is not apples to apples. That's apples to oranges, bro. Because she didn't go after the character, a 15-year-old girl. She went after Netflix. I think that they're kind of in the same weight class. I mean, I would go back and forth with that.
She went after the writers. Netflix isn't a thing. It's just a platform. She went after the writers of that show, and it definitely affected them as individuals.
It was the point on Netflix. No, it was on Netflix. She was expressing her disappointment about the streaming service airing something like that. Remember, Miss Americana was her bearing her soul. She's allowed to do that. She's allowed to say, I'm disappointed in this.
And writers are allowed to write jokes. I know we got to move on. I love you.
Though. Good conversation, you two. So speaking of stars standing up for themselves, Alec Baldwin recently snapped back at a fan on Instagram. So Alec and his wife, Hilaria, recently announced the arrival of their 6th child, a daughter named Lucia. Hilaria gave birth to her son just over 5 months ago. So that had some fans wondering how their daughter came to be. In the comment section of the actor's Instagram post, one person questioned whether the child was adopted or born via surrogate, or even the product of an affair. The fan said if Alec and his wife don't want to say anything, they should stop posting about their family on social media, to which Alec responded, quote, "Shut the bleep up and mind your own business." I'm not one to defend Alec Baldwin, but I'm defending him here. Like, he has every right to post about his family without having to disclose if they were...
I don't know about that.
What are you talking about? He doesn't have to disclose if it's IVF or if it's surrogacy.
He doesn't have to disclose it, but he can't get mad if somebody asks a question because he's posting it on a platform.
They're not asking a question. Read the comments, Al. They're so cruel to their children. Again, Alec Baldwin, not going to condone his previous behavior. We all know, you know, he's battled quite the anger problem, and we may have seen a sliver of that here on the comment.
Good point.
However, if you read those comments, people are attacking him. A lot of people suggesting that that baby is a product of an affair. I think that is crossing the line. Leave people's kids out of it. Jeff, what do you think?
I think it's fair. I mean, they posted it, right? They put it out there, and they left themselves open. If I put myself in their shoes, which I always try to do, I would expect to answer the question why my son or daughter is born 5 months after. I'm guessing it's because they were having trouble having a baby. This is all speculation. And it might have been IVF or a surrogate or something like that. I think it's perfectly fine to ask that question. We make it seem like we can't ask anybody questions anymore. Someone with an eating disorder, do you have an eating disorder? How dare you, Oprah? I'm doing an interview here.
It's how
but it's
you
like,
ask the question.
Listen, I understand the way that person though that we read, like, or maybe it was an affair. Come on, man, leave that out. You're taking a cheap shot.
That's my point.
You're taking a cheap shot with that.
Yes.
But if you're like, hey, Alec, I'm very concerned. I'm going through surrogacy myself. Did you get this via surrogate? I'm curious about your life. I love you and your wife. I think it's okay. It's fair to put out there.
Erica, to what Jeff said, if you write it thoughtfully, I don't think you're going to elicit a response from Alec Baldwin if you write it thoughtfully. So I'm just going to take that and remove it because I'm sure there was a lot of thoughtful commentary. The cruel commentary is what, in my opinion, made him lash out. Erica?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's his family, and I would expect the man to defend his family, if not anything else. I'm going to Brene Brown it and say not everyone is deserving of knowing your story.
Yeah.
I mean, if you are asking, it's really about intention. That intention was really poor. It wasn't something to uplift. It was something to provoke.
Yes.
I mean, if they didn't want it to start, then they shouldn't have. If they didn't want him to finish it, they shouldn't have started it.
Yep, I agree. Fully agree with you. Coming up on DBL, we are announcing the winner of our luxurious date night giveaway.
It is me. Thank you.
Nope.
I'm excited.
You are not legally qualified to win this as an employee. It is full of high-end products that'll amp up the romance. Stick around to see if you won. Plus, a model's emotional journey as she makes the life-altering decision to amputate both of her legs, and we reveal a huge surprise. And check out our co-workers at home. We miss you guys. We'll be right back.
Closed captioning provided by
Research.
There she is, Gabby Tuft. Welcome to DBL. So your personal story is definitely one of inner strength despite your previous physique and career as a male professional wrestler who your fans once knew as Tyler Rex.
In the new report, the CDC tested 3 mask methods to see which blocked the most particles. Now, the tests show a normal-fitting disposable medical mask blocks about 42% of particles. A normal cloth mask is slightly more snug and blocks about 44%. Things get better if you, quote, knot and tuck the mask. That looks like this. You make knots in the ear loops and then tuck the excess fabric in for a tighter fitting mask. This method blocks about 63 to 65% of particles. Finally, they tried a double mask, a cloth mask on top of a disposable medical mask. This was most effective by far, blocking about 92.5% of cough particles. That's more than double the effectiveness of either mask alone. After this test, the CDC put out new guidance for wearing a mask. They say the more snug, the better, and recommend multiple options, including double masks or using the knot and tuck method. Bottom line, yes, CDC data shows that 2 masks, cloth and disposable, are better than 1 at preventing the spread of COVID. That's verified. They also add what not to do. They say don't double up disposable masks or double up with a KN95 mask. With your Verify, I'm Jason Puckett.
The obstacle runway model Lexi Bader refuses to give up. Just last month, Lexi had her second leg amputation with hopes of stopping her chronic pain. We've been following her amazing story since the beginning. Earlier, Erica spoke with her to get the latest and reveal a very special surprise.
Lexi Bader is an expert at hiding her pain behind her smile. After all, she's been doing it for 8 years. Photo shoot after photo shoot, she keeps her secret from the world.
I lay in bed every single day. I usually cry every single day.
Lexi has a rare nerve disease that causes crippling pain in her feet. In 2019, she decides to take aggressive action, choosing to amputate her left leg below the knee.
I wasn't sad at all. I didn't miss it. I just looked down and I was like, yes. No more pain.
But then her disease spreads and the pain returns, forcing her to choose the same fate for her right leg.
I'm scared and I've been going through like grief. I've been going through anxiety and depression and being scared because as soon as I do this, everything in my life's gonna be completely different.
In January of this year, doctors amputated her remaining leg.
I moved from the bed to the chair today. Realizing that there's just no feet. I'll never touch sand on my feet again. No one will touch any of my feet again. There's no feet ever again.
Not only is Lexi battling the psychological side of her new reality, she is also fighting extreme pain.
I have so much pain and it won't go away. I'll stand up and she'll ask me to put it down. Not even all the way down, and it just hurts so bad. I've just been not sleeping well. And, oh no. It's just been really hard lately.
In spite of it all, Lexi keeps her smile and keeps pushing forward, taking one day at a time.
It's really hard, but I'm not gonna give up because I want to snowboard next season.
Lexi, welcome back to DBL.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad I'm here once again.
You are like light and grace under fire because it's been just a couple of weeks since your surgery. How are you doing today?
Today I'm actually doing really good, and since my surgery, I've been better than I thought I would be, to be honest.
You know, this isn't your first time, obviously, experiencing this. How has this surgery been different than your first amputation?
You know, I can't hop a lot of places. My back does get really sore sitting in my chair a lot. I do go on my crutches, but my prosthetic side, my left side, isn't used to standing on it as long. So that's been kind of challenging. I've been using my wheelchair a lot. A lot of stuff like going to the bathroom and, you know, just doing things around the house or out in public, getting in a car, in and out of a car. That's a lot of stuff that has been different for me.
Well, you know, Lexi, we so love having you on because you are so transparent with your testimony. You have been an inspiration to so many people. And every time we speak to you, you come fully yourself. But I know that there have been hard parts of this process. So overall, what has been the hardest thing for you?
I think the hardest, it started, in the hospital. This time I wasn't allowed any visitors. And out of all of the surgeries I've had in my life, I've never woken up without my parent there or a friend. And this time was really difficult for me emotionally and physically because I didn't have anyone there for 3 weeks while I was in the hospital.
And it hurt so bad. But yeah, that's what's happening this morning. But hopefully my day will get better.
Were there tips or tricks that you used for those weeks that you were in the hospital by yourself that might be of benefit to someone who's in the hospital right now?
Well, the one main thing is just definitely having a strong support system, and that could be family, that could be support groups, that could be virtual support groups, that could be talking with others, reaching out. And I know reaching out for help is something that all of us struggle with, but it's definitely something that you need to get through this, not alone. Definitely making friends with the nurses. I love the nurses. They're always super kind, always do my hair and makeup. And, I had a really bad day one time and I was crying, and this one nurse came in, she held my hand and she told me that she's here for me and that she'll never let go. And I was just crying in pain and she was just holding my hand. I just needed that, because if I was all alone and she wasn't there for me like that, then it would just suck.
I appreciate you sharing that story because I know that's going to resonate with so many others. You have officially become a DBL family member. We think so highly of you. We love you. But we aren't the only ones who want to share your story. So we do have a little surprise for you. We reached out to our friends at Cherry Creek Fashion, a fabulous magazine that focuses on storytelling with fashion, so it seems very much up your alley, and sharing the lives of inspiring people. And girl, they want to do a full spread on your story and put you on the cover of their summer issue.
Oh, look at my armpits! Oh my God, thank you! That's amazing!
Lexi, I am so excited for you. I know the folks at Cherry Creek Fashion, you guys are going to have amazing synergy. I cannot wait to see this photo shoot, girl.
Oh, I don't even know what to say. I'm blushing, I'm sweating.
It's amazing. And girl, Vogue, okay? Love it.
Yeah, can't wait to see her on the cover and read her story. Lexi's story is far from over. To follow along on her journey, check out her Instagram, @Bader.26. You can also donate to her GoFundMe page. Just search Lexi Bader on GoFundMe.com. What a true warrior she is. We'll be right back. Welcome back to DBL. Today's Heart Threads is all about charity. As Texas temperatures fell, one high school football player sprang into action, reminding us that even small acts of kindness can be life-changing for others.
A Texas teen organized a spontaneous coat drive during freezing weather. Mitchell Crow is one of the standout talents on his high school championship team. And when he noticed homeless residents outside of a local Target, he stepped in.
It was just pretty sad because it was kids younger than me.
According to his coach, Mitchell always finds a way to be responsible.
When it comes to his character as a human, in moments, he's gonna do the right thing.
As temperatures dropped, Mitchell asked social media for help.
Everybody helped. I drove around until probably 1 or 1:30, picking up probably from around 30 different houses.
Mitchell's mother, Michelle, recalls her son's response to people's generosity.
And then when he woke up the next morning, he's like, Mom, I have $700 in my Venmo. I've got to go to Walmart.
I was getting Venmos from random people that I've never heard of. I guess everyone that wanted to help saw that they could and just took the opportunity to.
We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Medical misinformation is everywhere online, and that's why the Verify team turns to the vetted experts to fact-check claims like these, which say that people who wear glasses are up to 3 times less likely to catch COVID. So let's verify. Are people who wear glasses less likely to develop COVID-19? Our sources are 2 professors, Dr. Sonal Tooley at the University of Florida and Dr. Catherine Colby at NYU Langone Health. We also looked at this study, a research article out of India. Here's what our experts had to say about this claim.
So at this point, we cannot tell you for certain.
We don't have any evidence.
This claim started to get attention when news outlets caught wind of a study out of India, which looked at 304 patients with mild COVID-19, concluding that those who wore glasses for more than 8 hours a day or sunglasses outside were 2 to 3 times less likely to catch COVID-19. Dr. Colby pointed out that this study is only a preprint, which means it hasn't been peer-reviewed.
I don't put any stock in publications that haven't gone through the peer-reviewed process.
In fact, the website that published the report says that preprints, quote, should not be relied on to guide clinical practice or health-related behavior, and should not be reported in news media as established information. Even the author noted the limitations, writing that the sample size was small, the study period was short, and that, quote, more studies should be done to know the effects of using spectacles on the epidemiology of COVID-19.
It's a good pilot study, something that we want to look at and then build from.
So we can verify that our experts say at this point, there's no definitive evidence that glasses wearers have a smaller risk of developing COVID-19. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozloff, 5 on your side.
DBL is all new every day.
Don't look at me like with that face because I'm telling you how I feel.
I'm not buying his story.
No, I'm just being honest. He's trying to get clout.
I'm I'm gonna wear a 10-gallon hat.
Stick with us in 2021. We're gonna have a great year.
The winter storm that hit Texas could raise grocery prices. Let's connect the dots. During the winter months, Texas is one of the few places inside the U.S. that is a source for fresh fruits and vegetables. But the deep freeze has devastated many of those crops, everything from kale to citrus trees. Some crops did better than others. Officials in Texas say onions and cabbage seem to suffer the least damage, but farmers still reporting a 20% loss of those crops as well. There are other states stores can go to for fresh fruits and vegetables like Arizona and Florida, so you will be able to find produce in stores, but it'll probably cost more, especially in the near future. That's because stores have to sort out the logistics of getting products from new suppliers, and that will take time and money. The storm could also have long-term effects. Many farmers had already planted valuable spring crops. Now those same farmers are scrambling to replant, but that will be costly. And that is Connecting the Dots.
On DBL, from Gabe to Gabby, a former WWE wrestler comes out as transgender and lives her truth for the first time.
I had just reached the point where I could no longer hide who I really was.
That's tomorrow on DBL.
You do not want to miss that interview. Welcome back to DBL. Who is ready for a romantic night at home?
I am, and I can't believe I won this.
You did not win. One lucky DBL viewer is about to elevate their date night plans. It's time to announce the winner of our luxurious date night giveaway. But before we do, let's look at some of the amazing prizes again. We are giving away $1,600 worth of goodies, from luxurious robes to designer shoes, from relaxing facials to delicious chocolates. And don't forget the wine. We had over 5,000 entries, but there can only be one winner, and that person is, drum roll please, Stephen Weber from Brookfield, Wisconsin. You are our lucky winner.
Yes.
Congrats, Stephen.
Stephen, he looks like he's on a romantic vacation anyway.
I know. Wow, how exciting for him.
Yeah.
I didn't know we were going to announce a winner. You're like, drum roll. I'm like, what, now?
Do you feel good? Are you excited?
I was excited. I bet Steve's
Jeff
very
just
excited.
sat there when you said drum roll, so I was like, maybe I shouldn't be drum rolling.
I was like, well, that's on Friday we're going to do this.
Congrats to Stephen.
Congrats, Stephen. A quick goodbye to our co-workers who tuned in from home. We will see you later, everyone. And of course, Erica, great seeing you. We love you. DBL is new every day. We'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place.
DBL.